All right. Today I'm here with Montana Elder. And Montana and I met originally at the old slash J slash, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And how did you hear? Because you were coming for a lesson, were you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I just wanted to have more like healthy hobbies. And I was like, oh, I used to ride horses. It sounds kind of fun.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll see if I can do that out here. And then I don't know if it was Facebook or,
Yeah, it must have been Facebook or something.
yeah.
But yeah, that's how we originally met. So, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, why don't we start out with your past? So, where did you grow up? Where were you born and raised?
I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh.
Oh.
No, it's the best city in the entire world. Shout out Pittsburgh. Um, and I lived there until I was 23 years old. So I did like all of my schooling, even college there. Um, Great city, cold city. Yeah,
Cold city,
cold city. Yeah.
as we're February in Grand County right now.
It's humid cold there though.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
wet outside.
What is like a low temperature for it?
I think they
Like
had
0?
-10 this year.
Ooh,
Yeah.
like negative. I don't even. It just doesn't relate to weather here because there's no humidity. So,
Yeah.
huh. So you were there till you were 23. So tell me a little bit about the family.
Um, well, standard family, mom, dad.
Stan.
Standard family,
Yeah.
yeah, nuclear family.
What does that mean
Yeah,
nowadays?
nuclear family. Mom, dad, little sister. Um, I I don't know. We're all very close knit. Little sister is getting married this year, so I feel very old all of a sudden. And like everyone's staring at me when I go to family events. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
When are you gonna
Well,
do this?
what's the
Yeah,
hold up?
yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 26.
Oh, okay, let's
Yeah.
just get that on the book. So you've only been here for years, or
Oh, it might be more. I
yeah.
moved out here like right at the end of COVID. So I graduated in 20. Oh, I've
Oh, you graduated.
in 2021. Yeah, and
Oh,
like 2 weeks later, my parents were like, "Do you want to move your stuff home to the house?" And I was like, "Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. Like, I'm moving to Colorado. Like as soon as my lease is up." And they were pretty cool about it. Mom flew out here, and we found an apartment. And then, yeah, I just moved. I don't think I even had a job yet. But I worked all through college. So I had some
yeah.
money saved up. But yeah, I definitely didn't have like any plans other than to live in Colorado.
Huh. Yeah, I guess I assumed you were here longer than a couple of years, 2 years, 3
Yeah.
years,
2021.
20. Yeah, plenty.
Mhm.
So your parents still live in Pittsburgh?
Yes, my
Yeah,
whole family is going to be at Pittsburgh. Like they're kind of
yeah,
like Pittsburgh forever kind of people.
yeah.
Huge Pens fans, Steelers fans. It's a little crazy.
Yeah, feel bad for them.
Yeah, it's the kind where like if you change the channel on Sunday, like dad's yelling. Someone's not happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his go-to Sunday television?
Anything Steelers.
A Steeler. Yeah.
Yeah, football. He'll sit and watch football and oftentimes like hockey too. I used to like hockey more than I do now, but when hockey's on, apparently my mom's unlucky, so like my dad and sister and I could sit in the living room and watch it. And then if my mom came through like our French doors in
Yeah.
the living room, he's like, "No."
No.
He'd point the
Oh.
other way and be like, "You got to get out, Kelly. You got to get out right now." But we grew up in the dream team time of Pittsburgh hockey. We
Ah.
had Marc-Andre Fleury, Evgeny Malkin, and Sidney Crosby all on the same team.
Yeah.
So there was a lot to celebrate in those years.
How many cups did they win?
Don't ask me that. I don't know. At least
Okay.
one. At least one.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
least one.
I don't know. My dad and sister have a picture with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the cup?
Yeah.
Did they
I
drink
think
out of it?
no, one of them's kissing it though, and I don't know which one it
Oh.
was. Yeah.
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 I wonder if they ever cleanse that thing or not. Probably when they give the new champ, shine it up. That's
Yeah,
about it.
the old
Yeah.
champs have to polish it
Yeah.
first.
Otherwise, it's just a cesspool of kissing and God knows whatever
Yeah.
everyone else does to that
Everyone's
thing.
babies are being,
Yeah.
touching it.
Hoisted in it.
True Pittsburghers are.
Baptized in
Yeah,
it.
that's what I was just gonna say. I'm like, yeah,
I
Stanley
could see
Cup
it.
baptism,
Yeah.
start 'em young. Yeah.
Nice. And your dad's also into Survivor, is it?
Yeah, my whole
Or is
family
the
is.
whole family?
No, the whole
It's
family is. So we
legit.
grew up watching Survivor. Like, we were sitting down watching every season of Survivor as it was coming out in real time. My parents ended up flying to New York to meet, like, Jeff Probst. Jeff Probst.
I don't
I
even
can't
know who
speak.
that is.
Okay, he's the host of it.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
embarrassed.
I don't know how you don't know him.
Yeah,
He's like kind of a
that's
legend, but they met
a
all of like
legend.
the like heroes and villains kind of a thing, and they're actually printed out all their photos and they're in a scrapbook at home. There's like at least 5 pages dedicated to like my mom and dad with various Survivor people.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
hmm
Oh, so did you guys used to always get together and watch that?
Oh yeah, it was a family event.
Old
That
school.
that and Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter. We
Oh yeah,
when he passed away, I remember sitting in my
sad
mom's
day.
lap sobbing. Her and I just like sobbing to
It
the point
can't
of
be
like where
so.
you get like you're gonna make yourself throw up if you
Yeah,
don't stop. It was a horrible day.
huh. It's kind of amazing. No one in your family ended up being like Steve Irwin or on Survivor.
I'm applying, so
Yeah,
yeah.
still
Yeah, I'm
playing.
still in the process.
Yeah,
I've got to think of a like I know they say they just want to see you in the audition, but like I don't like being filmed or anything like that, so
yeah,
I don't know what to say. Like this is me. I'm home by 8 p.m.
yeah.
Enjoy my really boring life.
So did the family get in like arguments over Survivor?
No, because
No.
we're all like very morally similar. So
Same
like
team.
yeah, and there's like a way you play the game that's morally correct, and still you can still like snake people and like pull off a good blindside or betrayal. And then there's some people who like the producers must have just put them on there because they're crazy and they're gonna make a lot of people upset, both like fans and other players. Like some
Yeah.
of the people are just absurd, and when those people are on, my dad's eyes would roll to the back of his head, and we'd all be like, "Yeah, we hate Russell, we hate Coach. Those are two people. If you watch Survivor,
Okay. Yeah.
you gotta agree with me."
Over my head.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you'll have to break them down.
There's like 24 seasons. You can learn whenever you want. It's all on
Is there
Hulu.
really?
There's
Or
there's definitely more. There's
yeah,
24 on Hulu, and
I'm
like
gonna look it up right
there's a
on my
bunch of them.
phone. Great.
Tia and I were watching it last night, and like we get worked up. Like this is our football. This is our NFL Sunday. Is like Survivor nights. We'll sit on the couch. We'll scream. We'll be like, "Oh my god, these idiots! Like, how did they like mess up the puzzle so bad?" Or how many are there?
48.
Yeah, that's because it's a good show.
My goodness.
It's a good show.
It has to be. Wonder what's the longest running show? Like,
I honestly feel like it's probably Survivor.
yeah, it's gotta be up there.
Mm-hmm.
Something like Simpsons, maybe, or
Maybe a different TV show, but in terms of like, I don't know if you'd call Survivor like a game show or
yeah,
like I don't know. I don't know what category it falls into.
yeah. How is it?
Delicious television.
Delicious.
Yeah.
So where Survivor started to where it is now, what's your thoughts on? Have you watched a modern season?
Um, I'm still working my way through all of them, and I've
Oh,
seen most of them, but there's certain ones like if there's a name that I know on it, or like if Boston Rob's coming back for the however manyth time, like I'll watch that. We don't really go in order, but the first seasons like that they ever filmed are so old that like they don't fill out your TV screen. It's half the TV. It's like the
oh,
middle. Like their
wow.
cameras weren't even
Yeah,
good enough for that. And they also like just sent them in there with nothing. Like
yeah,
I think they found out later like it probably helps the competitiveness if you give them rice and beans to like so they have something to eat. But that's the kind of a thing that I guess is a modern commentary little moment is
mhm,
that like if you're gonna go on the show you have to play the game, and there's a lot of people who want to go on it just to like be on TV and whatnot. And it's so easy to sort out who's gonna be good and who's actually there to play the game and like be smart about it, and who's there because it's like a good look for their brand or something.
yeah.
And I feel like that's a lot of the newer seasons too. Is there's people on there who I'm like, why the hell did you sign up? Like if you're so miserable on day one in the wilderness, like you should have known
You're
better.
screwed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Is there one a year? Or?
I feel like
No, it
there's
can't.
no.
That was a stupid
I wonder
question.
how old it is.
I know.
I wonder if it's older. It's definitely got to be older than me, maybe.
Yeah. So what would your name be on the show if you do
You
get
still
on?
have your regular name.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but like Boston Rob, how did he get that?
He's from Boston. He has a
I
thick
know,
Boston accent. He
but
wears
it's
a
a
beehive. How you
nickname.
wouldn't know
Yeah,
because you haven't seen
like
it.
he didn't show up on the show as Boston Rob, did he?
He
Or
might. I've watched this audition video and I can't remember, but he might have like introduced
yeah.
himself as Boston Rob.
Oh,
And then there's like other psychotic players like Coach, who his real name, I looked it up last night. It's like Benjamin Wade, but he goes by
oh,
Coach, and he is so weird. I can't even get into him.
yeah.
I don't like him at all. So I think I would just be Montana on the show too.
Lame.
Yeah. But I would absolutely, Dad, shout out to you. I would have you out as my guest because I know I'd make it to like the merge point, but for a reward challenge, I would definitely have you as my guest.
The merge point. I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
The tribes merge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the tribes merge, and then it's like an all out slaughter to who
Oh,
can get
God.
voted out. But you have to be careful because then the jury for like who decides if you win the $1 million out of the final three are all the people you've stabbed in the back to be in the final three.
Yeah.
So it's a mind game. You actually might like it.
Yeah, I bet I would. I might have to go back and watch a little.
Take
I
a
think
night
I
off.
watched. What season was Boston? That
Like
was pretty
there's
early
multiple.
on,
There's I don't
right?
know.
But like his first appearance, I remember watching
Mm,
that one back in the day.
yeah, I don't know what his first season was.
Yeah, that- early on.
Yeah,
Would be fun to watch, start to finish, 40 seasons, just to see the change in strategy and people and just
you
all the dynamics.
which is funny. You'd think after 48 seasons that the people applying for it would have like done their research
Yeah,
and watched what strategies worked and didn't. And some people come in and just like make the most basic mistakes
yeah,
and simple stuff. And that's when Tia and I get mad on the couch. Like we're
yeah.
standing up,
Come
we're
on.
yelling at, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like watching a sports game. We're like, oh, these idiots. Oh, she's blown it. She shouldn't have talked before like the third vote. Yeah. There's a
uh,
strategy.
you mentioned Tia. Who's Tia?
Tia is my best friend who I met working at a bar in Denver, and we've lived together for like 2 years now.
As
So
all best friendships start
yeah,
in
in
a
the
bar.
trenches.
In
We didn't meet in the bar. We were working side by side, like
Ah,
12-hour days in
yeah.
this like sports bar, and it just like pure chaos.
Huh,
And there's nothing there, and that's how like most of our friend group met each other, and
yeah,
we're still super strong to this day, even though like most of us don't work for the company anymore.
yeah.
We see each other pretty often. But yeah, there's nothing like being in the trenches on a Sunday with like tables with like 40 people in your section and everyone's screaming, and some guy drank his beer in 2 seconds and now he's mad that there's not already another one in his hand. It's definitely an experience.
That is a shame. You're better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they'd let us take a shot or two on the shift too. And
Ah.
like sometimes like, you hadn't eaten breakfast, you've been running around. It's like halftime in the first game, and like someone's like, "You want to do a shot of Fireball?" And you're like, "Yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
idea." And
Send
then
it.
yeah, and then you're either like it actually either helps you or it hurts you, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, dang. We're gonna have lots of tangents. The
You're gonna love
Survivor.
editing this.
Yeah, the Survivor one could go on forever. I feel like, but
You brought it up.
yeah, I know. I can't help it because I knew it's a family little thing,
It is.
so we had to go there, and better sooner than later.
Yeah,
And I just learned a lot about Survivor. Didn't know.
you should watch it.
There
You
you
like
go.
it.
Yeah, I'll think about it. Then I'll just text you like everything as it's happening. Like, oh, could you believe so and so?
I would love that.
Yeah.
That's what I want to talk about. Like I would call my mom in the middle of the night to
Uh,
be like, "Guess what I just thought about?"
we need to brief.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, exactly.
I bet they do podcasts on that, breaking down each episode.
They probably do,
Yeah.
but I'm scared if I started listening to those, I would lose my mind.
Yeah.
Like Survivor is a mind game itself, and if you think about it too much, like you could just go like down the toilet bowl of like
Toilet.
yeah, there's a lot to unpack in that show.
No.
Yeah.
All right, I want to go back to the childhood. What was growing up in Pittsburgh like? Like your earliest memories, like good
Mm.
memories. What did that look like?
Well, there's summer is like really amazing there. Winter too, and like especially when we were younger.
Winter's amazing there.
Oh no, it really was because we had that kind of stuff where it's not like in Colorado where like you're so used to snow that like the kids don't ever get a day off of school. We used to like one night it snowed. I want to say like 4 feet, and that was the most snow we'd. It was something insane where everyone's
Yeah.
power was out. You couldn't get down the road. There
Yeah,
weren't
what
even
do you
like
do
we
with
didn't even
4
have
feet?
plows because that like doesn't happen in
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Like it gets cold and like it'll snow, but like 4 feet was just excessive. So I also like grew up on a street right down from the elementary school I went to, And so like there was a bunch of my friends on my street and whatnot. So when that happened, like no one had power, anything was working. So we were out there building like giant igloos, like getting lost. And I grew up on a street where you could just like yell out the front door for your kid to come home and like they'd come home. And one of my friend's dads actually did that and he would scream it down the street. You could hear it if you were on the
Yeah.
other side of the school in the woods. And then
Whoa.
she'd up and run home super fast. So
So you lived in kind of a close knit community, more suburban type?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes outside of downtown, but
Okay.
definitely like suburban.
Yeah.
My parents picked that place because they both moved around a lot when they were younger and decided they didn't want to do that to me and my sister.
Yeah.
Which, like, I could talk about that. That's definitely a hit or miss kind of. There's pros and cons to that. The school
Yeah.
I went to, I'm not the biggest fan of, and I don't think I thrived there at all.
Yeah, it didn't work.
No, it was not for me. But
That's a failure.
yeah, I definitely had like some kind of learning disability too that like everyone ignored, and like I was just there like
Yeah.
daydreaming all the time. So like at like recess, instead of like playing, like I'd have to like play with these green cubes to like try and figure out how to like do math and stuff. It was really humiliating. There's a lot. Yeah.
Did you at least get to pick what color cube?
No,
No.
but and like I don't know, I just always got yelled at,
Yeah.
especially in math. And I like just couldn't make sense of any of it and I
Yeah.
didn't know why they were doing what they were doing and I couldn't apply it to anything. And my parents worked really late, so I went to a program called Extended Day. So most like our school hours are from like 8 till
Sounds
8
terrible.
a.m. Oh, it's so 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. So I'd get dropped off at school at like 6:30 or 7 in the morning, eat breakfast there in like the lunchroom. And like this isn't a big group of kids that are also there's maybe 20 of us every single day. And it's
Huh.
the same group of kids.
Yeah.
So get there early, go through the school day. And like when you're a kid, you don't have the attention span or like the patience really. Like you need a break, you need to be home.
Yeah.
You got to have some kind of like release. And then after school, we'd go back to the cafeteria and we'd stay there until like 5:30 or 6 when we could get picked up.
Whoa.
So really, really long days.
Yeah.
And like when I would be there, like it was just tiring and like I just wanted to be at home. I was never a kid that like did homework. I did not want to do that shit. When I was out of school, I didn't want to look at school stuff. Like I just didn't want to be in the building.
Yeah.
And as a fun little story for that, the first time I ever skipped school was in second grade. And it wasn't a one-time thing. A substitute teacher who worked at our elementary school lived on our street, which is like maybe, I don't know, a 5-minute walk to the school.
Yeah.
And we had this, this is like older days. So this obviously would never happen now, but they used to do the count in the morning and they'd have all the kids raise their hand if they were going to go home for lunch with their parents or if they'd stay at school. And I never went home for lunch. My parents weren't around for that stuff. But I always had a packed lunch. And one day I'm like, I just raised my hand for like going home for lunch. So they let us all the kids out. And
And you
like this
just
main thing, parents
could
were driving
go.
their kids. And I knew where I lived. I lived 5 minutes away.
Okay.
So I just walked home and the substitute teacher just walked in front of me all the way home. So I just
Yeah.
followed her. She was my direct
Oh, that
neighbor.
was smart.
So I would just eat and play with these little bugs that you could like connect. And I'd sit in my little window in my house
Yeah.
by myself playing with these bugs. And I'd watch the substitute teacher go back and I'd just follow her.
Yeah.
And that's how I always figured out how to be on time. Until
And-
one day they were like, this is a true story.
Yeah.
They were like, they were like, I see you brought a lunch. Like, why are you going home for lunch? I'm like, oh, my mom's home. And they're like, all right, well, we're just going to call and check. And so they called, no one's answering the home phone. They got a hold of my mom. She's like, no, we don't do home for lunch kind of things. And so like, I'd been sneaking out. I brought
Yeah.
my friend one time too. I don't know. It was a lot of
Nice,
fun
yeah.
though. But I just hated that building. Like I would have done anything to get
Yeah.
out of that place.
Right there with you.
Yeah.
What grade was that or what?
That was second grade. So you can
Second
only imagine how
grade.
much fun I had when I got to middle school and high school.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wild. That's wild to think about now.
Yeah.
Roman. Well, you at least had the sub teacher.
Yeah. And it was on
wasn't
the
as
street. No,
sketchy as.
it definitely wasn't, but I'm
Yeah.
surprised none of my friends or like my mom's friends who lived on the street saw me and were like,
Yeah.
you should not be here. Like
Where are you going?
you are by yourself and your mom is not home and we all know that. So
Let alone the sub
Yeah.
teacher that watches you.
I always stayed behind her.
track
I don't think she
yeah.
even ever saw me. I was like a
That's
little
bizarre.
I was like a little
Yeah.
shadow. Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
shat.
I got I always needed my alone time. Like I still do to this day. I call it hitting my threshold, and that's whenever I leave whatever event I'm at. Cold hard Irish goodbye. I don't care if
Yeah.
I'm my battery runs out. And I think that's what I was doing even in second grade.
Yeah.
So at least I'm consistent.
Yeah, that formal schooling, not for everyone, so
No,
I get that
no.
vibe. Never did that stuff, though. The flow.
Mm,
But I like recess, hanging out with buddies, stuff.
yeah.
Little different, and I wasn't 5 minutes away and all
Mm-hmm.
that.
That's true.
Couldn't drive yet.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
get that from 4 feet of snow.
And I have no
That's
idea.
pretty good.
You're gonna have so much fun editing. Like it
Oh
might
no,
be a
it's
3-hour
it's all
podcast.
just going.
Oh God.
Yeah. I,
Yeah. Yeah.
back. So that was second in school. How did that feeling kind of progress as you continue to age, third grade to sixth grade?
Oh my, it got so much worse.
Yeah.
And I like
How did
even
you pass then? Like if you're sitting there playing with green
couldn't
blocks?
literally couldn't tell you. And I was always in trouble, especially with the math teachers. Because
Yeah.
like I said, like for other stuff that I was interested in, and I've always been good with English and history, no problems there. I always liked those
Huh.
things. So I excelled in those. But when it came to math or science, like no one ever took the time to, especially when I was younger, to explain to me why it mattered or give it to me, like give me the information in a way that I could understand it and process it. Because clearly my brain wasn't doing things that the other kids' brains were. And like it didn't work for me, whatever way it was being
Yeah.
taught. But at that time, there wasn't even a conversation about like different types of learners either.
Hmm.
So like, and this is like another thing, even in high school, in our school district, if you're not like, the exact type of student that thrives in that, you're going to get weed whacked by that
Ooh.
system.
Yeah.
And so I think I spent a lot of my young life thinking I was stupid
Yeah.
because I couldn't understand things or, apply them. And it only in things that I didn't enjoy or
Yeah.
wasn't passionate about learning.
Yeah.
So when I got to middle school, sorry, mom,
Uh-oh.
eighth grade especially, I was still really struggling in math. And instead of like being taught by the teachers, I could sense that they were irritated that I wasn't learning.
Yeah.
And I just had this thing, like, especially with tests and everything, if I couldn't get it, I just shut down and
Hmm.
like just full hard stopped thinking, like got really upset, like quiet, would like get teary eyed, but like just, I kept that all in, but I would still sit there and just be so miserable. And
Didn't show it, but
no,
just like frozen.
no. So same thing in middle school. My parents saw like throughout my entire life worked, full time. So
Hmm.
I had to go to before school, they dropped me off early. And then after school I had a little more freedom. And like people could give us rides home and we played sports. So we always had something to do, but like we were still there early and I was still sucking at math. And I forget someone reached out to my mom and was like, your child is so behind in math. Like you've got to do something about this. So they
Yeah.
started offering this morning class, like it was called like morning math. And I absolutely loved the teacher. Her and I got along so well. And I remember showing up my first day to morning math, and it was like an hour before school. There was 4 other people in it, and all of them had Down syndrome.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So any confidence or like belief I had in myself
Yeah.
vanished.
Gone. Yeah.
Vanished. I'm like, oh my God, I am like, I'm not even at the point of like being able to be helped.
Yeah.
So I think I just stopped giving a shit totally about school then.
Yeah.
I was like, this just isn't, something's not working here.
It's official.
And in learning, like just started feeling like a punishment or
Mhm.
something embarrassing. So I was just like so shut down in every class and whatnot. So getting into high school, I just I wasn't even a loner. I still had friends and whatnot, but like during the school day, like I was just going through the motions. I was pretty checked out of everything unless it was English or
Yeah.
history. And then like I took honors classes in history and English, and then with math, I'm
Ooh,
like
fancy
still a
pants.
year behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like probably more than 1 year, like probably like 4 years behind
Yeah.
in math. So that's embarrassing.
Do you think it was you literally just didn't care about math, or you're just not a numbers person? What do you
I
think
think
that
I'm not a
was?
numbers person, but I think people's reaction to me not understanding it was worse than anything else. Like I've been screamed at over math. And from teacher, like I've like
Nice.
teachers have publicly embarrassed me over math. And I'm not like I don't like to answer things on the spot anyway, especially if I don't understand it. So there was one teacher in particular in high school, and he just loved to make an example out of me. Just loved it. And like I had the worst experience. So like at some point I just stopped doing it to like out of spite where I'm
Yeah.
like, no, fuck you. Like I'm not
Oh, I love it.
yeah, you can embarrass me or I can just be a dick. I can
Yeah.
out dick you and like then so everyone's losing. So
Yes.
I just and it was it like I somebody I did get a tutor at one point who I really loved and I started getting it and he was just the nicest guy. Nicest guy. And then I understood it and he was so patient with it and like he made sure that I knew or that I was doing better or that I was doing it right and like
Yeah.
there was a lot of like building up going on there in places where like other teachers were like either like just hated me or had given up on me and were like, yeah, nope, there's
Yeah.
other students here that are more worth it. And so, yeah.
With the morning math teacher, why did you like that teacher so much?
Um, she treated me like a person.
Yeah.
And my mom always jokes that like I could have moved out of the house when I was like 16 years old and been totally fine. And I've been really independent my
Mm.
whole life and I've always just been so good at being alone. And I always wanted to be like treated like an adult and like
Yeah.
a person and like able to make my own choices because I had like my mainly myself to talk to at a young age. Like when my parents are working, like it really was just me for a very long time. It felt so I knew that I was capable of all this stuff and I had bigger questions and like had a thirst for like something else like not school related. So this is the first teacher who took an interest in me as like a person and a student.
Yeah.
And I think I probably had the best grades I've ever had in math when I was in her
Huh.
class. But she knew that I didn't like I was not going to be a better learner if she
Yeah.
embarrassed me.
Yeah.
And she was like that with all of her students, but I don't know. I think she was also a new mom and something like between the two of us, we just communicated really clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did she teach differently in any way other than?
She was patient,
Yeah.
she was slow, she took time. Like there was never like there's a rush sense to some of the math classes I've been in where it's like, does everyone understand this? And like, I feel like no one wants to say that they don't.
Huh.
So then we just move on to the next thing, even though
Yeah.
like 5 people are lost. And she was very much like, would walk around and have a one on one with everyone and make sure that everyone was getting it individually.
How long was that class in the morning?
That was an hour long. And then I had another
Dang.
math class later that day. So I think I also
Okay.
think like I just kept getting the stick with that stuff instead of the carrot. And I was just like, I don't.
Yeah.
by the second math class of the day, like one was enough. Now that I have to
Yeah.
do 2 a day, yeah. And then
Yeah.
we had
Makes
physics
it
that year
worse.
too, and physics is a lot of math, and I hated that too.
Yeah. There you
Yeah.
go. So just not a numbers person.
No, and then just like somewhere in that like in that time, especially in 8th grade, just convinced myself like, oh, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Like I'm dumb. So like this isn't
Yeah. And
important to
then
me. I don't know what's gonna happen to me, but I just know like this I can't do whatever this is.
yeah, and once you believe that, man, that can really mess you up down the
Oh,
road because it
definitely.
just like stunts you
Yeah.
like a mental block. No, just can't do that because
Yeah.
I'm dumb. Why?
Absolutely.
From second grade.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, stick. Huh.
I feel like they do things differently. Like I feel like I don't even how old what year was it when I was going through all that? I don't even know, but like nowadays there's such a big conversation around the way people are taught and that just was not a thing.
Yeah.
Like in my day it was like there is one way. If
Yeah.
you like you
Fits a
better figure it
system
out.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
huh. Did you have any other teachers that stuck out in your mind
Yes. My senior year English
for better
teacher.
or for worse?
Yeah. My senior year English teacher and my honorary con what was it? Honorary contemporary something. It was an
Whoa.
honors course. I can't remember the
Yeah.
name of it. But it was domestic politics honors course, and I think it was the first honors course I ever took. And I loved that stuff. I
Yeah.
got so like not worked up, but I got really passionate about it. And that teacher, Miss Ritchie, actually got me like for as a graduation present, got me a couple of books that I still have and like reread frequently today. And I just think that's nice.
What are they?
The good Thank You for Your Service and The Good Soldier by David Finkel. And then there was another one that I lost shortly after she gave it to me. But I think it was about the Pennsylvania Railroad.
Huh.
Yeah. But that was the nicest gift because that means that, like, in my brain, I was like, she thinks I'm smart enough that she's gonna give me this stuff and it's not
Yeah.
homework. She's gonna give it to me because she knows I like it.
Huh.
So she stuck out to me. But there's another tangent we could go on there. So
Yeah.
that was like
Fire away.
that was the first class that I was like, holy shit, like I am smarter than just not being good at something else. Like
Yeah.
I can be bad at that and really shine in this arena. And I was on top of my homework with that. I was really interested in it, and it was largely like a debate class,
Mm-hmm.
which I never thought I would like because there was a lot of public speaking and arguing. But like
Yeah.
I came prepared, and I've always been somebody
Ooh.
good in an argument. I'm so good at
I
arguing.
could
So
see
like
that.
yeah, this my mom used to tell me to be an attorney, and obviously I wasn't gonna do that.
Yeah,
But
not there.
there was this is the movie Hacksaw Ridge, or the year Hacksaw Ridge came out.
Okay.
My class, she got to pick like 3 people or 2 people out of it to recommend to go to this private screening and like table conference for this movie with a bunch of like veterans and like I
Yeah.
guess like the mayor and a bunch of important people. I don't know. I kind of blocked this out because this is a little
Yeah.
bit traumatic. But she picked me and I was so honored and excited, and I went to this thing and I forget what the question was. It was like about standing for the Pledge of Allegiance or something.
Yeah.
And like legally they don't make you. And I went to a big high school. Like there was like
Mhm.
800 people in my graduating class alone. So
Whoa.
it's like a college campus.
Yeah.
So when they did morning announcements in the pledge, no one was standing. No one was even awake at
Yeah.
that point in the morning. So they must have asked some question, and my friend looked at me. He was like, "Don't poke the bear," and I'm like, "I'm not gonna poke a bear. I'm just gonna like be honest here."
Boop.
And so I was just like, I just answered the question, and it was about standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm like, they don't make people. A lot of people don't do it in our school, but they're not like sitting down or ignoring it
Mhm.
because of, they don't agree with the message or anything like that. It's just like they hear this song every day and they're teenagers, and like it's just
Yeah,
they don't
another piece
see.
of school.
Yeah, exactly. It's just not a thing that you think about when you're a
Yeah.
teenager. You're just like, oh, I've done this since my whole life. And then in high school, no one cares if you do it or not. So just no one
Yeah.
does it. And if you do, then you're the only person standing for the pledge in your classroom. So that's like a little weird. But I
Awkward.
said this aloud, and these you might want to these veterans in the room, and everyone got so mad.
I could imagine.
So steamed
knew
up.
where you
People
were
were
going
like
with
getting
that.
up and leaving. Like people were like yelling, and I was like,
Boo.
I turn red whenever
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable, bright red. So I was just like, I was ready to get the hell out of that theater.
Yeah.
And on the way out, this reporter woman
Oh
stopped me,
no.
and I forget. It was like so innocent. She just got like a basic quote from me. I got in my car and just sobbed outside of this like theater where we just screened this movie. And I went home and told my dad. He's like, "Nah, it's fine. Like, really, don't worry about it. In the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal."
Yeah.
He was very supportive. And then the next day in that class, my teacher stopped me after, and she was like, "You might need to talk. Like, just a heads up, you might be reached out to by the school board or by someone at the school because of a public statement you
Whoa.
made, and all of this stuff." And they were like, I don't, can't even remember."
Yeah.
But I was like, "What do they mean? Like, you sent me to this event to represent and like speak my mind because you thought
Yeah.
that I had something to say, and now you're mad that I said it,
Yeah.
even though it was the truth." And they're basically like, "Yeah, that wasn't a slap on the wrist for like saying that." And
Yeah.
my dad was livid. He was so mad. He's like,
I
"I will
imagine.
talk to every single person there. They asked you to do this. You are totally entitled to like." It wasn't even over
Yeah.
anything bad, but like that's the thing. I went to a high school where if you like smear the image of this perfect school, they pride themselves on like,
Huh.
we send people to like the Ivy Leagues. Everyone from here goes on to be like rich and successful, all of this stuff. So if you besmirch that image in any way, like
Is that a word?
the
Besmirch?
oh yeah, that's a word. Yeah.
I'm gonna
If
look
you
that
do
up
that, the
later.
whole
I like it.
you will like God's wrath in the
Yeah.
form of Mount Lebanon School
Well,
District.
early
It's coming
cancel
down.
culture right there
Yeah,
is what it
exactly.
sounds like.
Yeah. It was just weird. It was like, wait, you sent me to do this thing and I did it, and now you're mad at me? Like, what?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
so confused. I'm just a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. You're kind of doing what you're wanting to do now, even
I
though
know.
all of that traumatized.
Well, I think all of that made me who I am now. So I wouldn't change any of that. And
Mhm.
like college was just as hellacious.
Yeah.
So like,
just a continuation.
oh yeah, it was like that's a good talking point too. Like
Yeah.
when I graduated, like I had decent enough grades to like get into some good schools and whatnot. And the first school I went to ended up being where my dad went to college. And so I've always had this thing of like, well, I never felt good enough in school, but I wanted to try. And so then I got into college where my dad went, and like we had so many amazing memories there. I had friends there. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, cool. I might not have been doing what I wanted, but like I'm going down the path that like, it seems like people around me are proud of me for.
Yeah.
But before I got in, I had been trying to have a conversation with my parents about a gap year or taking a year off.
Yeah.
And like I was pretty committed to the idea of doing a year off, and they were just not having it. Did not have it at all. They're like, because they knew that if I took a year off, I wasn't going to go
Yeah,
back.
that's it.
And which is probably so true. I would
Yeah.
have just, I wouldn't have gone back. And honestly, if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't have gone to college.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm glad I have 2 degrees. I don't have any debt. And it was a great experience. But like, I was miserable. I didn't want to learn any of this shit. I didn't want to, I knew I didn't, like, if you go to college, you should know that you want to be a nurse, a doctor, a lawyer, something you need a certificate or a degree to like do. And I didn't even like anything at that point. Like I had no life experience. I'm like, I can't make this choice or like study something until I at least like have an inkling of what direction I want to go.
Yeah.
Because right now, like I'm just pissed I have to be here. And like my first year of college where my dad went, like I was having a terrible year, horrible depression, suicidal, so bad.
Oof.
Like it was a nightmare year for me.
Yeah.
And it was a small town. It was a little bit away from Pittsburgh. And I felt like everyone was so adamant that I get an education that all the times I was like, I'm warning you, I'm really not doing well and I don't want to be here. They're like, you got this. I'm like, I'm not being like dramatic or exaggerating right now. Like I'm going to be in a really bad way if I stay here. And so when I transferred, things got better, but like at that point I had already put them through enough hell of getting me to go to college, then having a terrible year and moving colleges. I was like, I'm already in, I'm just going to get whatever degree I can and like just be done. And I ended up doing English literature and like an art history minor kind of a thing. So those are pretty useless and I'm not doing anything with them now. And like my parents could have saved all of that money, right? Like someone could have had all of that money for me to like
taken that and done something totally different with.
Exactly. And hindsight's 2020. And that's the one thing when I talk to my mom, especially about this now, she's like, well, I'm glad you have your degree, but yeah, I'm sorry. We should have listened.
Whoops.
It's definitely like an error of like, we weren't even knowing that that's an option. And also like my family tells me a lot, and this is definitely true for our family particularly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not living or doing things the way that they have been raised to do it, or that they would, or the way my sister's doing it, or my cousins.
You're doing it all wrong?
No. They're pretty supportive now, but it definitely took like a lot of fumbling and them being like, what the hell are you doing? Like first, or like my mom tells me I make her sister nervous sometimes because I'm so yes, I make my aunt nervous because I don't know. I do things like that I want to do and I don't do what I don't want to do anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Understandable after your schooling so far.
Yeah, I'm like, I got the stick my entire life. I'm going to go find the carrot. Screw y'all. Bye.
Thank God for that. I mean, either fall into place and just be miserable doing the 9-to-5 corporate kind of job, or you just completely get out and you never turn back.
Yeah. And that's nothing against my family, by the way. They are super supportive now, and my whole family is great, but it was like being the first child to grow up and seemingly like I just felt like I always had a problem in my family, or I was always causing some kind of problem.
Yeah.
I was just reacting to like just being like not in the place I wanted to be and not learning what I wanted to learn. So, but everything's good now. I'm happy.
Your parents are just doing what they think is best for you. So it's not like they're trying to torture you or put you through something that doesn't make sense. They're just doing what they think is best. That's that. Because I imagine that's how my parents were too, but I'm the same as you. I wish anything I could go back and not go through college, even though good time, good friends, great experiences. Just felt like a waste of 4 of the most productive years of life.
I could have made so much money just working.
Yeah.
Just working for 4 years. I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah. And as a horseman, think of how many horses you could work in a 4-year stint. And at that age level, I mean, that is your prime to where you can just work like 500 horses a day, come back fresh as a daisy the
Mhm.
next day, wash, rinse, repeat, good to go.
Yeah, and I worked all throughout college too.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really ever have a day off in college either, and I still live my life that way, and I'm used to
Yeah.
that, and I'm used to like having constant cash flow. So
Pittsburgh hard.
yeah, yeah. But I worked around the clock, and I always had that money. So if I could have just like not had to do all the college stuff, like I could have just also maybe figured out a better direction for myself. Like
Hmm.
instead of going through all the brick walls that I ran head on into, like I could have like maybe like planned
Face
out a little
first.
roadmap first. Yeah.
No.
Maybe like I don't know, found a path sooner
Yeah.
or easier. Didn't go bushwhacking to find it. Yeah.
That's life in a nutshell, though, isn't it? Just
Yeah.
brick wall.
Yeah. But same thing you said. I don't regret any of that because
Yeah.
if I didn't do any of that, then I don't think
Mm,
I definitely wouldn't be in Grand Lake
yeah.
podcasting.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Not me.
Not me.
That that does suck, though. You look back at life and just, I could have done so much with that time or even that money, and that's why I think it's good that you say what you're saying because maybe others will have choice and can make different path for themselves rather than head down the college route. They just don't know any better.
Yeah.
So much more life story out there nowadays that you kind of search, find,
Mhm.
and reconfigure your life based around that.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool that you bring it up because that's exactly how I felt, and I imagine a lot of other people.
And you don't want to be resentful either.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing you could feel is like I feel just like I've been so beat into this my entire life. Like now I'm like I just am gonna like
Yeah.
snap if
I'm
one more
over it.
person like makes me make another choice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and even if your other path doesn't even make any sense at all, at least it's not that.
at least it's my own.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
exactly.
then whatever trouble I find, like that's just face that head on, but at least
Yeah.
it's not like something I don't want to do.
Did you ever have any jobs calling you, drawing you in as you were going through high school, college, anywhere in life that was like, yeah, that I think I might want to do that?
100% no.
No, nothing.
No. And I think that's because all of the jobs that like I was seeing people around me get and whatnot, like I've never been a sit down learner. Like
Yeah.
I am not a person who can look at a screen for extended periods. I don't give a crap about researching stuff. Like unless it's what I'm into. If it's
Yeah.
like maybe I would have been an English teacher. I liked that idea for a while just because I had some good English teachers growing
Yeah.
up. But I don't think I was actually called to that. The more I look back at it, the more I'm just like, well, that's the thing I would have hated the least. Um, and then yeah, I don't like I've never been like so sure of anything, but I know that I never want to work inside at a desk and I don't want to do any hamster wheel jobs. And like I see my sister and dad work for the same company in human resources and in marketing. And like the struggle that I've seen both of them go through, it's cool when they finish a project
Yeah.
and it must feel awesome to like see your name and like know that like you did something for a big company. I would lose my absolute mind if I had to work those hours and for that pay. Like
Yeah.
my soul would my spark would
Yeah.
leave. I would have to become someone else, and I can't do that.
That always amazes me at what people don't make and for what they
Mhm.
do. Wow. That either pure love or just completely lost what they decided because they probably
Yeah.
connected with a teacher at some point. Thought, oh, seems nice.
Yeah.
And teach others, help them, just like that one teacher helped me or mentor
Yeah.
of any way. Did you have any other mentors or teachers that stuck out that changed your perspective on life at all?
Mm. I didn't really talk about it much. I talked about Miss Ritchie, but my English teacher,
Hmm.
namely my creative writing teacher, and like I always actually I grew up writing a lot of stuff. Like my parents have notebooks. Like I always loved writing.
Huh.
Been a great writer all my life. I could
Yeah.
write full on stories. My parents have them all saved. And I actually was so bad at math in the first
Have
place.
them send them. I want to read
Oh
every
god.
one of
I
those
actually
stories.
bet you that there's some like horse-based stories in there.
Yeah.
I know there are. I know there are. I used to like I also have always excelled in literature too. I can crush books.
Yeah.
I used to crush a book a day. I stole books from the library. I've stolen them under my sister's name because we're both named
Nice.
Mary is our first name.
Con
I could
artist
crush books and
from the get-go.
I was obsessed with writing. And math class used to be like my tune out time and I would write the entire class. And I had this dude turn to me once and be like, shouldn't you be like practicing? I'm like,
I
I
am.
think I
Leave me
scooted my like
alone.
binder away with my little like line paper and was like, don't look at this story. Like I just always grew up writing and like very much living in a fantasy world.
Huh.
And I think it was just like that was like my brain was really active and I could really clearly see images and storylines in my head. And I could not relate to like the real life. Like you need to look at this projector right now or you're going to be in big trouble 8
Yeah.
years later. But when I took that class, I kind of just signed up for it because I needed an elective to fail. And I'm like, well, this won't be so bad. And then this is going to sound so douchey. There's a lot of people like kids like read their work aloud and like people were reading poems and like stories and some of it was just so bad. Like it was hard to like keep a straight face. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, I signed up for a class with a bunch of jokers.
Yeah.
And people were like, I get steamed out with talking too much, like in big groups,
Yeah.
especially. I get like overstimulated. And there were people who were like, their volume's always at a 10 out of 10. They're telling some crazy story. And like the teacher was awesome, but he let the kids like, he let people like go off on tangent. Like there was no order. And like he taught one serious class that I took too. And that was kind of the same thing. He let like the football guys like just scream over each other and like just say inappropriate shit to other kids and stuff. And I got so irritated.
like
I
high
left
school.
in the middle of class before. I've straight up just walked out of that class and
can't.
left. I've left the building entirely, and then I get detention.
I'm going home.
Yeah, and then I get detention. I'm like, I can't. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not.
Yeah.
I've skipped a lot of school. Sorry.
That's what it's for.
They used to call home every day at 7:02. The school system would call and notify the parents that their kids got home. So every day at 7:02 p.m. If I skipped that day, I'd just walk over, pick up the phone, hit end, and put it back down. My parents wouldn't even know it rang.
Check.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mischievous.
That's
See, at least I
awesome.
was smart. Like I was smart. I just
Street
like
smart. Yeah.
yeah, I just
That's the
couldn't
thing.
do couldn't there were a couple of things I couldn't do. But that teacher, like he made me realize that I was actually a really good writer. And then I went the first school I went to, Allegheny, in college, I took an honors like poetry class. And this isn't like we're writing like cheesy poems. Like this was like a rigorous like mental workout.
I
and
just
like
think like 22 Jump Street. Have you ever seen that?
I have
Or
not.
21?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
They end up at like slam poetry or something. It's called hilarious.
I have heard of that.
I'll
not,
have to send it to you
that
later.
is not the kind of poetry that we were writing. Like this.
Cynthia. Remember that line?
Cynthia.
And yeah,
No.
I'll send you the rest of the clip later.
No, we were writing in like all different kinds of like forms and like different like we had different prompts and stuff and like it was like some serious mental English math. I don't even know how to describe it, but like
not good with numbers, but words, no
words,
problem.
no problem.
Huh.
No problem. And I had a large vocabulary. I always liked words. My dad actually
like besmirched.
Like something like I think I learned that one from Game of Thrones, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
But
lies.
so
I don't believe it. You'll have to send me that.
I was telling you when we were growing up, we had that extended day program. So over the summer, when there was no school, we had a nanny one year, and then we had a man nanny that we called our Manny the next year. And so my parents didn't want us to just be like, playing around all day, messing around. They were like, you got to do something productive. So they got me a dictionary, and my dad would say, pick 10 words a day, write them down, use them, and then I don't know, like use them when I get home. Like write them down, write them in a sentence, and then pick a word and then use it in a sentence with me when I get home. And I have there were some cool words in there, and I just have always had a large vocabulary since then, I think.
I mean, how many kids will actually do that?
I would get in trouble if I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, my dad was cool. He didn't, like, this was probably not what some kids want to be doing on a summer day.
Yeah.
But, like, it's hot and humid in Pittsburgh, so, like, I don't mind taking an hour out of the afternoon to sit in, like, a dark, like, little
A
cave
dark
and like read the
cave.
dictionary.
Can't do it anywhere in the light. It's
No, and
gotta be a dark
I
cave.
played basketball a lot when I was younger too, and my dad wanted me to be so good at basketball. We had a hoop in the backyard. Like that was part of my summer curriculum was to
Yeah.
play basketball in the backyard.
Get better.
Yeah,
Go.
they made our Manny like play against me in basketball in the yard. He was a good friend of the family too.
Yeah.
Shout out Josh. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But
Were you any good at basketball or?
yes, I was
I don't see it.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm not built like I was when I was like, a young like
Oh yeah.
speedy. Yeah.
A
Also,
young speedster.
oh yes. Well, so I played AAU, I played travel, I played school and middle school, but like there's a point where like you can be really good in that league, but when AAU started rolling around and we were getting like closer to like high school,
Yeah.
the girls suddenly went from being my like at least my height to being like 4 feet
6
over my
foot,
head.
yeah.
So unless I'm banking threes every time, then I'm just like I just physically was out of the game.
Owned. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I
Huh.
switched to like I also grew up playing like softball all the time. We did travel softball. We played a lot of travel sports. Like for basketball,
Yeah.
we're doing like, we'd disappear for the weekend because we had 3 games in a day.
Huh.
And then we'd get like a Perkins dinner and like you just sleep until the
Yes.
next day. Love
Shakes.
Perkins.
Did you get the
Yes.
shakes? Oh
Yeah.
God.
Or like brownies. Just like eating
Yeah.
Bob Evans all the time. Like this stuff was fun and like I miss being part of a team because all of those people that I played with, especially in softball growing up, were
Mhm.
awesome. My gymnastics friends were awesome.
Gymnast too? No.
Yeah, but I was not
No.
like I was not super good at that. But I had so much fun doing it, and I had potential to be good. And I think that's what made my dad irritated with me in certain sports was
Yeah.
like he was like, oh, if you just like put like 5% more, and you could actually like be a threat in this
Yeah.
competition. I'm like, I
Might
just want
get
to
some
swing around.
scholarships.
Like
You
I
might
just
go
want to
pro. Come on.
no, yeah. I was like, I just want to swing around the bar.
Yeah.
I just wanted to have fun at
Yeah.
that point too, and like that's the other thing I always felt like I was competing against everybody else in school to just like keep up. That
Mhm.
I didn't want to compete in certain sports and I didn't want to compete in anything else. I was like, I'm full of competition. We're
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. That's
I
not my
can see
thing
that.
anymore.
Yeah.
Nope.
No. High school. I wish I could go back and like change my mindset on sports and stuff like that because to me it was don't lose. It wasn't necessarily win or be
Yeah.
the best you could. It was just don't disappoint people
Yeah, that's exactly it.
and don't lose.
Is it
'Cause you're
just be good
supposed-
enough?
Yeah, you're supposed to be good.
Yeah.
So just be decent and
Mhm.
don't lose.
Yeah.
That was kind of the mindset I had, which I wish I could go back and just backhand myself and be like, no, just be the literal best you could
Yeah.
be. If you lose, who cares? You're gonna learn and keep striving down that path rather than be decent, but don't stretch out there too much because you might lose.
Yeah.
That always held me back mentally.
Yeah. A lot of the sports that I played that were like competition like that, like especially in basketball, like there's one position I play and I'm
Yeah.
point. And then there's one other girl who could be point. So if I'm not on the court playing point, she is. And like now, like, I don't know, she's taking my spot, who's gonna get more playing
Yeah.
time and all this stuff. And at some point, like there were too many voices about like winning, losing, competing, get this, get that I was like, I don't even want to play this sport anymore.
Yeah.
And like I've enjoyed it and I'm glad I had all that growing up. But like towards the end of it, I was just like I was forgetting my like gym bag at home. I'm like, I don't even like and then I was
care.
miserable. And then like there's a lot of games and stuff. And my parents were never mean about any of this at all. They've always been super supportive, but there was just like silences in the car after like certain things where I'm like, I know I didn't even try at all.
Yeah.
And I just feel like they were probably like, what the hell am I doing driving my kid like 4 hours away so they can like stare at their shoelaces in
Yeah.
a game? Like, and we had a lot of fun memories too. Like softball, I was really good at that. It was a great team of girls I played with too. So like that was fun.
Yeah.
But certain other things, I'm like, I don't even want to go this game.
Yeah.
I don't even care about like playing this. And I don't know. But yeah.
Did you have to travel quite a bit of distance for those
Yes.
sports? Yeah.
Yeah.
That would suck.
Yeah. And like, I mean, there's a lot, like Pittsburgh's pretty like dense with like high schools and teams and whatnot, but we'd
Yeah.
play people from like an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours away, 4 hours. Like we'd drive really far and like
Dang.
these weren't like short days either. we drive clear out to like a place that I don't even remember the name of to play teams I've never heard of.
Yeah.
And we'd play 3 games a day, like 3 tourneys in the middle of the
Brutal.
summer, sweating. Like you don't even know where you are.
Yeah.
Like just exhausting stuff. And especially in softball, that was fun. In basketball, it was like, I am so done with this right now. Everyone's taller than me. I've been smacked in the face by accident 4 times today. The only thing I'm good for at this height and at this point is to like get in a jump ball thing because
Yeah.
I can hold on. Like, but yeah.
How tall are you?
Ugh, I don't know. I think I'm 5'4", but that might be a lie. That's
You
the
gotta
last
be
time I
taller
got
than
measured.
that.
No, I
I
don't
was
think
thinking
so.
like 5'6" or so, but
That'd be cool.
yeah.
I don't know. Tia
Yeah.
says she's 5'6" or 5'8" or something.
No way. She's like 5'10". She's
I
tall as me.
I don't know. I
Huh.
don't know.
Yeah. I don't think you're mid status. No.
I'm not what?
No.
Oh, I thought you were gonna like call someone out for
Yeah.
being really short. His name.
That's been funny. No.
Yeah.
High school sports or just sports, and especially when if you're in the city, it's like, what else do you do for the parents?
Yeah.
Something they kind of get into with their
Yeah.
kid, especially if they're good at it. So I get that aspect of it
Yeah.
too. And some of those parentals on the sidelines,
Oh,
holy
crazy.
smokes!
Crazy.
Yeah,
When I was also like, I might have been like 5th grade, my mom wanted to like do activities together. And I might have been younger, but she like signed me up to play tennis with these bunch of other people. Never hated anything more in my life. I hated, and like all the other girls' mothers came, and it
yeah.
was like the waspiest shit I've ever, and even as a kid, I was
Yeah.
like, oh no. Like, mom, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
not
know about
me.
you and I are not these people. We are not doing this. And my mom is a cool motherfucker now. And I think
Yeah.
I made her that way. I at least gave her all of the gray hairs. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely stressed them
I
out.
made that.
She would like try and do all these nice things. I'm like, no. I do not want to hang out with these people.
Yeah.
But the older I get too, the more similar we are, and the more like her and I can like have open conversations where like we used to just butt heads if we
Yeah.
like couldn't like get on the same page. And now we're both like, oh my God, remember this time? And it's great. We have some great
Yeah.
memories. So
That's
yeah.
cool. That's interesting too. Parent-child dynamic as you continue to age and just
Yeah.
mature
You start
in
to feel
age.
like an evil person a little bit as you get older. At least I did. But like I wasn't really like the happiest, so I know I like just did a lot of shit without considering anyone else's feelings. There were a lot of little things that I could have done better to make like their life easier. But when you're a kid, like you genuinely like are just selfish by nature. You don't think about any of that. So like the older I got, I look back at some of the stuff I did or like put them through, and I just think like she was like my parents were enemy number one, or like they don't
Yeah.
listen to me and all this, and like some of that was true of like I
Well,
could have
that's
been
your
more
world.
heard.
It's pretty small.
Yeah, I
back
could have been
then.
more heard, but like I didn't have to be so cold. Like I did not have to like be as like shut off and like
Yeah.
I could have handled a lot of things different. But as you get older,
God, I hope every kid that's now an adult thinks that.
yeah. I don't know, but I don't know. You start realizing your parents are just people too.
Yeah.
Because I used to be mad that they were never home, like that. But like I also didn't. But I didn't have to pay for college.
Yeah.
So like they did all that stuff so they could give us a better life. So I'm like I'm out here complaining like all the other kids are getting like lunch with their mom. All the other kids are getting dinner with their parents, and like I haven't seen you guys in like literally 2 days. It feels like maybe for 30 minutes. You yell at me for leaving my shoes off the carpet, and then I go to bed, and then I'm annoyed with you. And I feel like I don't even know you, and I feel like you don't even know me. And then we're too tired to talk.
At math, I mean.
Yeah. And then they've had the longest day at work. The last thing they want to come home and do is deal with me being a dick.
Yeah.
And I had a little sister too, so like I don't know. We were always just like just in our own world.
Yeah.
Because no one ever had us in any other situation, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it is funny how the world's so small when you're a child and just in that family dynamic. Everything that's life.
Yeah.
You don't really know any different until you actually have to.
Yeah. And then you learn hard and fast.
Yeah, and then you look back at all of it and it takes a totally different vantage point where it really makes you reflect. Hope it makes you reflect back on it. Just appreciate everything your parents do for you or don't do.
No, they do so much. So much. So anyone who's younger listening, if you are still in their household or like you just moved out, call your mother, call your father, say thank
Yeah.
you, send them a meme. They'll
Send 'em a
appreciate it.
meme.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
send sports memes in our family, and it's like our little
Classic.
like check-in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A good one.
Yeah.
Oh. What did your parents do for work growing up?
Mom is a radiologist at
Still?
West Penn Hospital. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
She's had a really cool life. She did radiology for a really, really long time. She went part-time because she was genuinely miserable
Yeah.
in her work kind of thing. Like it was hard for her to be a mom and be a worker and be herself and like just who she was with who she
I
is
can only
now.
imagine.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's something you can only learn when you're a parent. Is like,
Yeah.
how many hats do I have to wear? Damn. Like, but so she went part time, and she's just now realizing like all the things like that she actually loves and is passionate about. She's really passionate about like gut health. She does her own gut health seminars now. Like, she
Huh.
studies all of her own stuff. She's really, and I think it's because I struggled so badly with depression too. She never wanted to put me on like actual medication. So we tried all of these different diets and whatnot. And I was a kid, so I didn't really stick to them. So I can't say if they worked or not.
Yeah.
But now as an adult, she teaches classes on how to eat to
Huh.
like basically your food is medicine kind of a thing.
Yeah.
She has a lot
Do you
of
know how she got into that? Because I would say
she's
she's a little bit
she
ahead
is
of the
she
times.
is she's an independent researcher. My
Yeah.
mom, when she is into something, she is one of the people who can like and will sit down for hours because she just finds it so interesting. I can't
Huh.
read that because I don't know what a thermodiglyceride like I all these big like medical words are like little I just don't know what they mean. But she also is a master gardener and works for the Fish Botanical Gardens in Pittsburgh, and she likes to do cooking
That's a
classes. And
combo.
yeah, she's just getting. It feels weird because I've always known her as Ultrasound Kelly because we
Mhm.
used to call her, and that's how she'd answer her work phone is Ultrasound Kelly. And so we
Wow.
call her Ultrasound Kelly, and now she's becoming like Gardener Kelly, Master Gardener Kelly.
What does that
Like,
even mean to be a master gardener?
she's a way better gardener than you.
Yeah.
You know, she got like she went through like a long period of like classes and studying.
Okay, so it's
She
like
yeah.
formal
She
schooling process. I
yeah,
didn't know if it was
yeah.
that or like wow, like garden
No, 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 no.
master.
For like some formal schooling process. I was already out of the house, so I wasn't around to like really
Yeah.
see the ins and outs of that. But I've visited her at Phipps, and like it's a giant botanical garden. That thing takes a lot of hands, like
Yeah.
experienced hands. It's really
I would
complicated to make it
imagine.
run. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my dad built her a garden at her home in Pittsburgh, and she has the coolest like every year, huge vegetables. She
Yeah.
knows what fruits and vegetables
Huge vegetable.
don't like each other. She's out there all the time, like, and
Huh.
she's just turned her into like the best version of herself
Yeah.
now, and she's so happy. And it's cool. She actually is one of those people, and she says it like word for word. She's like, "I'm gonna go touch grass," and you'll look out the back window, and my mom will have her shoes off, and she'll just be sitting in the grass. Like, "Oh yeah, I was just having a minute, just touching the grass." I'm like, she's like, "Do you want to come with me?" I'm like, I'm not a peaceful person like that. Like, find it really hard.
I'm a violent being.
No, I just like I can't sit still like
Yeah.
that, and like touching grass is well and great, but like I don't feel
Rather
like
listen to horses chewing on it.
I actually would rather listen to that.
Yeah.
And that chewing sounds used to drive me so fucking angry. My sister and I used to get in like screaming fights because I could hear her chewing across the table. We call it guache. We'd be like, "You're guaching." She'd be like, "No, I'm not." A huge fight would erupt. My mom's yelling, "Girls, knock it off." My dad like has
Wait, go back. What was that word?
watching.
Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah.
you said like quatching or something. I was like, what?
No, guaching.
How did you come up with that
And
one?
like 20 minutes into our fight, we'd realize my dad picked up his food and he's out at the computer reading
He's
CNN. He's
gone.
like, yeah, he's like, I'm not
Yeah.
dealing with this.
No,
But yeah,
quatching.
watch it. Yeah, and now as like an older person, like I I don't mind any of this anymore. Like especially like horse sounds. I think it's because I like them though, and I'm picky. I don't like a lot of things.
Well, horses are particularly loud, which is an evolutionary thing that they gained and why they probably alive today. But I won't.
Nerd,
Yeah,
nerd
won't
moment.
go into
Horse
that
girl.
one.
All right.
Oh goodness! And your dad? What is?
Oh, see, that's why I can't do an office. I don't know exactly. Human
Yeah.
resources. Oh, you know what? No, growing up, used to have to fire and hire people.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he would be in a bad mood because he'd have to fire people all day
Yeah.
long. He would come home
All
sad.
day long?
Oh yeah, he
My
would come home sad and
god.
be like, I had to let go of a really good person. Like, and it's from all departments, like get
Wow.
sent through him. So like, I mean, how quick would that just take your spark out if you were like literally like firing people before the holidays, letting them off,
No.
and like you get paid to do that?
Yeah.
And
That's your literal job.
eventually he got laid off.
Yeah.
And then when he got laid off, I don't know how exactly this happened. He's worked for BNY for a really long time. They moved him to a different position
Yeah.
in the same branch or something. But
Huh.
I don't actually know. I know that he's on phone calls all day long. But like if I'm home and like he's on a meeting, he does hybrid work. If he's in a meeting, I'll pick up some of what they're saying and I have no clue what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like I could guess.
So he worked big company.
That's big company that handles a lot of money. So I
Mhm.
don't from different companies. So
Yeah.
I like
And
literally
still
so far
doing
beyond
that?
me. Yeah, he's still
Yeah.
doing that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does he like it or no idea?
I
Just
no.
kind of
I don't think he
working,
does.
doing,
I think he puts
putting
on
in the time.
my mom wants to retire. And
Yeah.
he is gonna let her retire soon here. I
Yeah.
think. I think he wants to retire, but he's like wanted to. He's just like we call him a girl dad. Like he just wants to provide, and that's his thing. He also is good at what he does, but like it definitely. I think he's just sick of it by now. Like I think you can only do like I don't know how many years he's been at that job, but
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine even for 10 years, let alone like 40, sitting
Yeah.
at
Right.
like sitting and doing the same thing and firing and hire. Like I think I like what? How do you even know who you are after? It's like just like a corporate blender. I
Yeah.
have no clue.
Because at some point you'd think you'd have to just
Mm-mm.
completely tune out to be able to deal with it, or you become the most empathetic person ever. I don't know.
I don't know which one's worse.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know
yeah,
either.
yeah,
Because there's no way you could do that in a way that wouldn't just make you crazy.
yeah,
So then, I mean, similar to horses, where they tune out at some point because at some point it doesn't make sense. And then, well, how do you deal with that? Just completely tune out. Or
yeah,
you in school.
yeah. No,
Or me in school.
yeah,
Just tune out. But yeah, see that with horses that kind of lose their soul because nothing made sense at some point. And they just get
then they
this.
get the stick.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
get the stick. They never get the carrot.
Yeah, and their
Yeah,
eyes just kind of gloss over,
yeah,
like they're physically there, but the spirit's gone at
yeah.
that point.
Mm-hmm.
And once it's gone, I don't think it ever comes back. And probably same with people. Can't think of too many people that have been pushed that far down a road that become tuned out, and then they just
Walk back into it
become a
with like a
master gardener.
renewed. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I don't. My mom and dad are a different beast.
yeah.
They do have a lot of fun. They
Huh.
they go to like they go to Germany. They go to Amsterdam. They do a lot of fun stuff. They have a
Beer
great friend group.
fests.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my dad's in a beer club, and
A
that's
beer
always
club.
yeah.
How
I've
can you even call it a beer club and get away with it? I love it.
no. This isn't. They have an app. They have a website.
No.
That they
So
yeah.
he's got like friends that are
They
developers, or is this like something
I
that's
think
going
one of
on
them is.
hundreds of
No. I
years?
think one of them isn't a developer, but they put stickers up. Also, they're like the craziest group of guy friends. They're super awesome, but like they'll have what they call like planning meetings. We used to do like little campouts, and they would always say like, "All right, we're having a planning meeting," and then
Yeah,
they just go to like the pub and like drink their beer. So now they
nice.
still do it, even though all of us are older and we don't do our little
Yeah,
campouts anymore.
and we know.
Yeah. So, but they'll bring in it
Secrets out.
like someone will have a laptop. And they'll have like 18 different beers, and they'll all sample them and like rate it, and then they, as a
Wow,
group, like enter into like this massive Excel spreadsheet of beer,
that is
like
the
all the beer in the
last thing I
world.
ever want to do when I drink.
Now they get rowdy
Yeah.
mainly at the Denver Beer Club stuff, but also when they come out here, like this is like their Christmas. This is them going to the Super Bowl. Like this year we
Beer
were
club Super
yeah,
Bowl.
this year we were all dressed like green wigs. People had white like face paint on for like being
Yeah.
Oompa Loompas. My dad's friends, like grown man friends who have known me since I was a child. We were in downtown Denver, and one of them was like riding a
Uh,
lime scooter and was like going over a bridge in a lime scooter. I'm looking around, I'm like, what's going on? Like, what is my life?
this is
What is
surreal.
this life?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's they both definitely find their ways to like have their own joy in that. But like they live to work or no, work to live, not live to work. What they always tell me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
Anyways.
what they tell me. I don't
Yeah.
know.
That's what they say. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have to. I work a lot, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, you got to make money.
Yeah.
Everyone has to do it. Some sense. At some point, too, I think eventually start doing more of what you want. The money doesn't matter.
No.
Hopefully.
No.
Uh,
Yeah.
And your sister, how was your relationship with your sister growing up? What's the age difference?
3 years.
3 years? Okay.
3 years. I don't know. Like, I feel very maternally for her because we spent.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. I know that sounds weird, but like it was her and I were just so close growing up because we did do these like programs and stuff when our parents weren't around. Or she's the only person I know in the household. Like we just I definitely gave her a lot of shit. Like my grandma brings up the time this kid Corey and I tried to make Gracie dirt in the backyard. Like it's definitely.
Jesus.
I know, but it was like lighthearted stuff. It wasn't like we were like
Lighthearted.
sticking her
Here,
face in a
eat
mud.
some
Yeah,
dirt.
no, we also like were close enough to play on some of the same sports teams too.
Yeah.
So like she's always been really close, but we were just different. Like we both had our own stressors. I thought like I hated school and was like bad at it, and like I was just like content being lonely and like whatever, just sodding off. And she was just like I would say she was like just better at like making friends and like more outgoing, and she was involved in all this stuff. And like I thought some of it was stupid, and so we didn't see eye to eye on that.
Yeah.
But like she also very much looked up to me, and I didn't even realize that till I got older. And like her and I are so close. It actually took like me going away to college and like me not being under the same roof. Because like as an older sibling, I feel like anytime there's like a fight or spat, it's coming down on you. You started it. You're the
Yeah,
older one.
it's
You know
your
better.
fault.
So I think when I left the house, like A, you're just missing your sister, your built-in best friend, and B, like now if something goes wrong, that's on you. You can't even blame it on me. I'm not there. And then she went to college, and my little sister is really tough. She's had some really hard things happen in her life. And I think like the older we get and the more we go through, the more like her and I cling to each other.
Yeah.
And like we're so close. Like if you would have told little me like this is where you guys are gonna be in, X amount of years, I would have been like, no, you
Nah.
can't mean that.
Eat this
But like,
dirt.
no, if I have a bad day, like I'll call her. If I have like a random thought, I'll call her.
Yeah.
Like her and I have just grown really, really close, even though like we
cool.
don't even live anywhere near each other.
Yeah.
Like she's gonna be in Pittsburgh forever. I'm never going home to Pittsburgh. And so like if we want to make any kind of relationship work, we call each other, and we are just so good about it.
Yeah.
So she's like my little best friend.
That's cool.
Yeah. We're also like a scary duo. Like we'll pick each other over everyone else, and like if her and I are arguing and someone else were to like try and get in the middle of it, we'll turn it on them.
Yeah.
And then you got two elder sisters. Yeah, there's a problem. Yeah, the elder girls are crazy.
That's awesome. Did you have much extended family close by?
No.
No.
I have 4 cousins. Yes. Yeah, grandparents. We were really close with my dad's grandparents. His dad passed of cancer in 2007, but we grew up largely spent our summers on a farm in Ohio where they lived.
Nice.
That grandma's still around, and she's amazing. She lives in Arkansas because it's warmer than being up in Pittsburgh or Ohio, and she lived on a big farm, so she couldn't keep it after he passed because there's just like that's so much maintenance.
Yeah, too much.
And he was definitely a farmer type, so she just couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But we talk all the time. She writes me letters like every week. I get them like to this day, and that's been like just true of my entire life.
Do you write back?
You know what? I never have. I know. I call her.
For
I get her letter and I call her.
I know. Unbelievable.
I know. But I'm gonna have that.
Yeah.
I know. I call her.
Now.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna know.
That's like an evil thing to say.
Yeah.
I'm never written back.
I get it. You probably have terrible handwriting.
No, I write in cursive. It's flawless. You probably couldn't even read it.
Yeah? I write cursive.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Don't lie on the podcast.
No, it always trips people out when they see me handwrite something because it's usually cursive.
Same. And like that's something they don't teach in school anymore either.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
How sad.
I know. I'm like, this is cool.
Yeah.
I love making Z's. Z's are the best cursive
Z's?
letter. Yeah. But
not my favorite.
And then my mom's mom and dad like had a funeral home. That was their like livelihood. This is really cool.
That's a trip.
And freaky. They had this giant old house, and they were both like smokers. They were just the
Oh
coolest.
God,
No. They
smokers.
were really cool. This is like an old mansion directly next to the funeral home. And we had these Barbie cars. So like in the summer, like we go to the pool. We had our two closest cousins, Bryce and Sid, were out there. It
Yeah.
was like a cousins party, and we were like 7 years old. And I was always the oldest. So once again, someone got in trouble, it's my fault, no matter
Yeah.
what. I don't even know what happened, but it's probably my fault.
It's your face.
Yeah. Yeah, just look at me. Come
Yeah.
on. But so we used to have these Barbie cars. They park in the garage. So like we'd just be like casually parking the Barbie car outside of the embalming room.
Mhm.
And like there's hearses. Like my mom used to go on drives with her dad to go get a body in one, like I guess get like corpses expel gas like while they're decomposing. So my mom and her dad went to get it when they were in like high school. And this corpse, as it was expelling gas, sat straight up in the back in the back of the seat
No.
and scared my mom half to death. But so we grew up, and like I was always like freaked out because my grandparents, like, they let me stay up late and everything. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Like I got to eat whatever junk food I wanted. My mom never let me do that. So like
Classic
if I'm staying at
grandparents.
grandma's, me and grandma and grandpa like are watching like a Nancy Grace like child murder episode. I'm like laying on top of the kitchen counter in this old mansion on a beanbag while my grandma smokes a cigarette and has a glass of
Yeah.
wine. It was actually really cool. Like, and her and I were so close, and she's the grandma who had actually passed this past summer. But she
How
was
old?
89. 89.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, didn't put you on the spot.
No, I think I'm right. But yeah. I don't know. It was a cool childhood. But yeah.
Bizarre. Did they always do that? Was that like their livelihood forever?
Forever.
That's
Yeah.
bizarre. That's a weird.
Mortician.
That's weird to think about. Like childhood growing up like that.
Well, it's also just weird because when you're like getting old enough to like be freaked out by death, like to
Yeah.
actually like know what it is and have that thing.
Yeah.
Like you start realizing like, like this is a small town. Like my grandpa like buried most of his friends.
Yeah.
So that was weird too.
Exactly.
Like he had a breakfast club, and like when they started dwindling off, like
Oof.
yeah, it yeah,
That's
it was a
I
really
need to
small
get
town they
someone
lived
like
into.
that on here just to like ask them all the questions.
Yeah,
Like a lifelong
yeah,
mortality.
yeah,
Yeah.
and also like my grandpa had a brain tumor at some point. When we got it removed, is really when he went downhill.
Yeah.
And he was a mortician, but we think it's because like once again back in the day, like you're not as like careful with all the chemicals that you're breathing in now. So if you're embalming, like
yeah.
you're the only mortician in town and you're embalming all these people, like something's gonna go wrong at some point.
Yeah.
So, and that was a brain tumor,
Huh.
unfortunately.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Trip. Going through a million questions around that.
All the different places. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a weird one to think. Just like growing up around that. That was going to be my question. One of the questions. Do you think that changed your outlook on death at all? Doesn't sound like it really did.
Mm-mm. But I don't think I really like.
Yeah.
I don't think about death a lot. I'm not really like it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Like it could happen a week from now. That's why I'm not concerned anymore at all with like just doing what anyone else wants me to do. I could die like on Thursday. I could die when I'm 101. Either way, like I'm not taking my debt to the grave. I'm not taking my money to the grave. Like so if I'm gonna make choices in my life, I'm gonna do what like I would like to do.
Yeah.
And obviously make good choice. I'm not gonna like go out and do anything bad, but like
Oh.
it's okay to not be a banker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Petition on here.
You're still on that.
Yeah, it's just like stuck in my head now. I can't get it out. I wonder what kind of weird stories they have.
You're gonna find probably some really weird morticians in Grand Lake. That should be a note. Yeah.
Probably all over the world. I don't know. That's got to change.
No, I feel like Grand Lake's a microcosm of just like actually absurd things. Grand County. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I want to circle back. You've been talking about college, depression. Where do you think all that came from? Was it something specific that you were experiencing or not experiencing that you thought brought that on? Or just go into more depth on that one?
A mix of everything.
Everything?
Yeah, well, a mix of all of those. I think I didn't have one clear like love or love of one activity or anything like that. I never thought that I was good enough at anything.
Yeah.
So I just didn't care if I what I was at that point. I'm like, well,
Mhm.
if I'm never good enough, like I don't really care what else happens to me.
Yeah.
Like I just like I probably could have gone down some like really like
Yeah.
could have gone some dark places. Luckily, I have a great sense of humor,
Yeah.
and like I'm able to like just like if I feel myself going there, I don't have to, and that like easier said than done, especially
Yeah.
in high school. But I think it was a combination of even though I was mentally able to make my own choices for me that would have worked out, nobody let me.
Yeah.
Nobody listened to me when I, said I don't want to do this. They just said, "Well, this is what we're doing." There and then there wasn't really a conversation about it. And then
So you kind of forced down a path you didn't really want,
forced
but
down,
then you
yeah,
also didn't know what you wanted simultaneously. So
yeah,
kind of a lack of purpose, probably,
yeah,
while simultaneously being forced down a path you obviously didn't like to begin.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And like I just all of that and like in the believing I was like stupid kind of thing was just really
Yeah.
isolating too. So I
Yeah.
just felt like very alone. And like the day that that changed was when I moved to Colorado. The day.
Really, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, do you still deal
No.
with that in different
Never.
ways, or
Nope.
did it dissipate? Huh.
The only time I deal with it is when I go home to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And for some reason, every time I like step in that city,
Interesting.
I feel like a rat in a cage, like or like I'm in a hamster wheel again, and I feel all of this like bird in a cage kind
Yeah.
of like feelings of like
Old
just like
memories that are still there
yeah, just like
kind of
I
come
there was
back.
there was gonna be no I didn't know what I was gonna grow into, but I knew there was no room to grow at all if I
Yeah.
stayed there.
Huh.
So and when I moved out here, like that was my first chance to just like no one knows me. I can just be myself. And if
Yeah.
people don't like that is tough shit. I don't have to like I'm just gonna figure out what works for me, what makes me happy and what doesn't. And being out here like changed everything for me.
Yeah.
Everything. And
How
like
how did you decide Colorado?
during COVID, college shut down and
Yeah.
I had 2 weeks off. Like I said, I worked all the way through college. I had a bunch of money saved up. I'm like, I'm going on a trip. Well, couldn't get on a plane, so I'm like, guess I'm gonna have to drive somewhere. It was a Thursday night in a snowstorm, and I packed all of
Oof.
my stuff in a bag with my friend and a bunch of comforters in the back, and we drove all the way to Colorado.
Yeah.
And we just pulled up into Denver. We got out of the car looking like homeless people, probably. We just drove through like day and night. Got here. We didn't have any plans. We didn't even have an Airbnb. We were just gonna sleep in the car.
Yeah.
And we just got out, explored the city, and just like it was so big compared to Pittsburgh, and it was so
Yeah.
beautiful, and there was just something like really like a moment of like, "Holy, I'm totally alone out here, and I'm fine."
Yeah.
Same thing my
Feels
mom said.
right. Yeah.
You'd be 16 and be fine on your own if you were living on your own. I could have been.
Yeah.
And now that I made that choice, like the first time I came to Colorado, I knew like the second that I am not bound by college, I'm so
Huh.
gone. I'm
That's
so gone
bizarre.
so fast.
I had the same experience.
Yeah.
I knew it the moment I got here.
Yeah.
What have I been doing in Minnesota this whole time?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why does anyone live there? What's going on here?
Yeah.
But same exact experience. Then finished college, moved out
Yeah.
immediate.
And I've literally never looked back. And
Yeah.
I actually get anxiety before going home to Pittsburgh. Granted, I'm always excited to see my family and my
Yeah.
little sister. I'm really excited for that, but it could be a 2-day trip for me.
Yeah.
Anything more,
Done.
I need like my routine that I have out here. I've built like a life and like a pattern and I wouldn't even say I'm comfortable with in like a too much of a like plateau way.
Yeah.
But like I feel so safe out here. I feel safe to be myself out here. And in Pittsburgh, I lose all of that security.
Yeah.
Like I could be there for 48 hours and completely forget who I am. It's so weird. But
That
that city
is.
like just energy sucks.
Huh.
It's and I
Bizarre.
love my city.
Yeah.
I do. I will never ever live there again.
Yeah.
And I I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. A great place to grow up, great memories, but like just I also like everything that ever bad that's
Yeah.
ever happened in my life, it happened there. So like
Yeah.
I just have this looming feeling of like impending dread,
Oh,
which is
God.
awful. Awful.
Yeah. Is it just the city vibe as well? Because you get out here and everything kind of open.
I don't even care. I
No.
lived in Denver flawless, like
Yeah.
literally seamlessly. Had so much fun. It's not a city vibe.
Huh.
I love the country vibe now. Granted, like moved there fresh out of like college. Like I had my like party time. I had the time where I wanted
A
to live in the
party
city.
time.
Yeah, I had time I wanted to live in the city, and like I was going to
Oh,
Nuggets games
whatever.
all the
You
time.
can't hold your liquor.
No, I not anymore. That's
Yeah.
that's why I live in the country now. That's why I moved to the country is because now I just like it's all right to stay
Yeah.
home here. The sun sets at 3.
Yeah.
It's okay to be in bed by
Yeah.
5:30.
It's normal.
Yeah. No, but I and that's also why I can't hold my liquor. I've had so much fun in Denver, and that was a great experience. I would definitely move back there one day.
Yeah.
But this is where I want to be for like right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't particularly like, point and shoot kind of thing. Like I'm just like, oh, my path is just going. It's just going. And then if I end
Yeah.
up somewhere good or like I figure it out on my feet, but like
Yeah.
everything since leaving Pittsburgh has like that's like the start of my life is when I left
Mhm.
Pittsburgh, it feels like. So,
Makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, that seems a pretty obvious moment for you to where everything
Yeah.
changed. So when you moved out here, did you have a plan or was it kind of pack up and go and figure it out as you go?
It was very pack up and go. Didn't even have a job, didn't even know what I wanted to do.
Man.
And like I've been in the service industry to like make my side hustle. So I knew that like I can sling drinks
Yeah,
and
you'll figure
make
it
my
out.
rent and like make money and be
Yeah.
fine. And I think my parents helped me out with like the first couple of months rent
Nice.
in Denver just because it was a lot of like it was hard to find a job at first, even in like because I was looking outside of the bar industry at first and was gonna try and do something different. And then I'm so glad I just like stumbled into like the bar across the street and ended up meeting my entire friend group
Wow.
and like just like in the trenches made a crap ton of money.
Yeah.
And then
Trenches. I love that.
yeah, and then somehow ended up here. But like I didn't have a plan, but knowing that I was going to be here was like enough for me to like just I had a fire under my ass about everything.
Yeah.
Like I'd never even worried, like didn't lose sleep over like
Huh.
how little money was in my bank account or anything like that. Cause I'm like, I'm fine. So
Mhm.
like so I just feel mentally better and like now I'm in a place to like I'm in a place to discover what I actually
Yeah.
want versus like just survive.
Mhm.
So fight or flight mode kicked off and I was like, this is sick.
Yeah.
And I had a pool in my apartment. So
Set for life.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
That's pretty wild though to move here with one friend.
No, I moved by
No,
myself.
by yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so you moved here by yourself. No job. Did you at least have an apartment lined up at the time, or
I had a
was
300-foot studio.
yeah?
Yeah, with
So you
no
at least had a place to
yeah,
stay that you knew of.
yeah, and it was right downtown. It was in Podes Row,
Yeah.
and it had no like air conditioning or
Ooh,
anything.
in Denver, my God.
And like that was the first time I ever related to my dad of like keeping the blinds down to like
Yeah.
literally had to just like sorry, you had to like strip and like just lay on like the floor
Yeah.
basically if you wanted to be cold. And
Like a dog
yeah,
on a
that
cold
studio was
concrete
awesome.
floor.
My best friend, she's actually my boss at one of the jobs I had when I moved to Denver, and we both ended up quitting because they didn't want any company like mingling kind of thing. Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
Good luck
This
with
is a
that.
weird side quest,
Yeah.
but her and I were like, oh, we're best friends. She ended up moving across the hall from me directly, and we had like keypads to get into our like units.
Yeah.
So we had each other's keypads. So I'd come home from like, work after a late night, and she'd be like asleep in my bed. So it was like this whole friend, and we all had like all of our friends lived on the same street. Like you just show up anywhere, and someone's at someone's house. So 300-foot studio. I've come home to like 3 people in my apartment before that I didn't know were gonna be there, and I've slept on the floor while like my friends slept in the bed. But
Nice.
yeah, fun times.
Yeah,
Fun
that's
times.
pretty wild though. To move here, not have a job, and just kind of figure it out.
Yeah, it worked though.
But I mean, I did a lot of that when I was bouncing around, figuring my whole horse life out. But the thing that all did for me was just confidence, knowing no matter what, I'd figure it out. I'd survive. I'd make the month.
Yeah,
I'd never worried about it. It might not be perfect, and it might be a little messy, might be a little rough, but at the same time, you're gonna make it by, so you don't worry about failing. You don't worry about
yeah.
being a failure. I guess I don't know. I don't
No,
know.
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
I've like never feel like I had a crisis of like self-doubt in
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, and I came out here and I had no questions all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And like to have like go from like no self-esteem or worth or like drive to even like get out of bed
Yeah.
in the day to go to
Game on.
full on 100%
Yeah.
strength in yourself almost is just a crazy,
Yeah.
crazy transition.
And it's a good feeling because
Yeah. And
you
it does
know.
not dwindle
Yeah.
either. It has not dwindled in 4 years
Yeah.
of living out here. I've never had a
Same.
moment where I'm like, I wish I could go home. I've
I
never,
just I
no,
just
I've
wanna
never
go
had
home.
self doubt. I've had
Yeah.
times where I'm like, oh, I could have handled this better. I, could have been nicer or apologized, but I've never once told myself I was stupid
Yeah.
since I've lived out here.
Huh. That's
So it's a
interesting
big
too.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bas-
Yeah.
But the confidence that gives you, pretty cool thing. Just knowing you're always gonna be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Might go from a good or great situation, and it might be shitty for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You'll work your way back up, and you can
Yeah.
just figure it out. But also kind of freeing too, in the sense that because you've been through that. For example, here, fire happens. All of a sudden, you have nothing,
Yeah.
and just moving forward. Because
What are you going to do?
yeah, why?
Yeah.
Why not? What are you gonna
Yeah.
curse the
Yeah.
fire for the rest of your life?
It's not going to give it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I'm super fortunate because of family and all that. 'Cause I imagine that happening to someone who has no family,
Oh,
has no support system other than all of the millions of support systems that were created after the fire to help out. But I don't know. You don't worry about things getting worse because you know you can deal with them and you have the confidence in yourself and family, friends, whatever, to just
yeah.
figure it out. Then you just move forward.
No.
Just like
And that's
whatever.
it. Even on hard days, and hard days is relative compared to my past, but on hard days, if I've just spent a bunch of money or my bills were due, it's hard to watch because I have to work my ass off to make my ends meet. In some
Hmm.
months, I've got a pretty good chunk of money saved.
Yeah.
In other months, it's pretty low, and I can always look
Gone.
at it and be like, you know what? I can pay my bills. Might be close as hell, but
Yeah.
I've got a roof over my head. I've got food in my belly. My situation is a lot better than other people's, and I've had less
Yeah.
personally. I've had less than $75 to my name at certain points before, and if I can get through that, then
Yeah.
this really is in
Yeah.
relative terms this is not a problem. I'm just being a brat now. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Just being
I
right.
yeah yeah
That's exactly how it goes. Oh,
yeah
so you were in Denver, figured that out, and then you don't. Do you remember what brought you here
yeah. The
originally?
bar I was working for, I
Yeah.
worked for 3 years, and they opened a location up here, and they were like, we need people to go
Ah,
open this mountain bar,
boom.
and Tia and I were like,
Mountain
yep.
bar check.
Bar, mountain,
Yeah.
yeah, and we were like, there's got to be some hot snowboarder dudes up here.
Oh, job, bro.
Wrong.
Zero.
No, but there's our good friends are up here, but yeah, definitely not what we expected. We also didn't realize there's only 900 people year
This
round.
place is lies.
Yeah, we got tricked, but literally
Yeah.
this is a hard environment to thrive in if you're not ready for it or you're not at a place to make peace with the death of your social life sometimes.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, so I don't know, it just worked for
Not
us.
Denver.
It
It's
is
not
not, but that's the thing. It's an hour away. I can see the Milky Way from my house at night, so I'd rather live here than live hood adjacent in Denver,
Yeah.
like I have in the past, where there's gunshots, people screaming in the middle of
Yeah.
night. I don't like walking my dog when it's dark. Yeah, that's a lot more peaceful,
Yeah.
peaceful up here. But yeah, so moved to open the bar. We all quit the bar. We're all still friends, and we all stayed up here
Yeah.
for some there's not a specific reason at the time that we quit. And we're like, nah, we like it. We were just this works for us. So
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Roman, is that you? Yeah. How you doing, bud? You want to come in and say
hi,
hi?
Roman. Nice haircut.
Who cut it?
Mom?
Oh, mom always cuts it? Yeah. What are you up to, bud? Yeah. Yeah, we're recording a podcast. Yeah. How was school today? Yeah. Good. Good to see your friends again since you were sick for what, week and a half? At school? Oh, that's awesome.
You have nap at school? Oh, that's
Wait,
cool.
did you wear jammies to school or did you already change? Oh, you dirty dog. You dirty dog. It's only 5:15 and you're in jammies already?
I would be in jammies if I were not
Yeah.
here right now. I got penguin jammies with my name on them at
Penguin
home.
jammies.
Straight up.
Oh my. What's on your arm then?
Looks like a heart.
Yeah.
You have a Valentine?
Ooh. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah.
From Molly.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh. Get your snout out of there, Luna. All right. You want to go watch some TV? All right. I'll be down there in a bit, okay?
The most docile I've ever been.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Got our support dog with us now.
Luna in the booth.
Yeah, we should be
Yeah.
good to go. Yeah, this is quite the change from Denver. So
Mm-hmm.
that had to have been a trip for you, especially not really knowing and just kind of coming up and looking for your
Yeah.
snowboarding husband.
No, and that wasn't even the point. I
You
like.
just offended so many snowboarders out there.
What? No.
Just-
I'm.
yeah, I
I'm
might
not
have.
looking for anything.
Yeah.
I also moved up here because I like wasn't happy. I was happier than I ever been in Denver for sure.
Yeah.
But like I needed a change and like I just turned 26 this year, but like I also in Denver it was really a fast paced life and it was always a party and I wanted like I had just had the perfect timing to move to the mountains and
Yeah.
it was a new opportunity and I'd been asked to like live up here full time. I used to commute from Denver up here to Helena. Yeah.
Oh.
Because I didn't want to give up my like life in Denver yet. I wasn't ready and I like one day I'll probably move
Smart
back
way
there.
to do it, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I was making upwards of like $1,000 a week, and we got
Yeah.
paid weekly. So I was like, oh, no questions.
Yeah.
$45 in gas a day, like
Crushing
done,
it.
done. And like I always worked like decent shifts too, so it wasn't anything crazy.
Yeah.
But I was just like everyone wanted to go out all the time, and like it was a lot of fun.
Luna, quit licking those antlers.
It was a lot of fun, but I also hit a point where like I am getting a little older, and like I know I still have time to like party and stuff if I want to, but a big part of me just like something deeply wanted to relax all of a sudden
Yeah.
and just like I'm
Get
just
some
wanna
distance
just wanna
from it.
take yeah. And at first it was like I just want a year off from like anything. I'd
Yeah.
love to just snowboard every day and like sling drinks and like how
Just live
how
the
hectic
retired
could your
life.
life be if you were like a ski bum? Like really, I'm like
Yeah.
this is kind of like a good deal. So it just happened that like there was an extra bedroom with my best friend
Yeah.
and like all of our pets were allowed and it was a good deal. It was a good deal and I
Yeah.
had no reason to say no. People had been asking me to do it for at least 2 years and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna say
Pretty-
yes this time.
Pretty
And
easy transition.
mm-hmm.
Nice.
And a year later, renewing our lease and like I don't know, putting down roots.
Yeah, putting down roots.
Something like that.
Nice. Huh.
Yeah.
And you've been riding horse now for what, year and a half?
Yeah.
And did all that stem from something in your childhood or what got you into
No.
horses?
No, I think it's the same vein of wanting to come up here and like find like really slow
Live the
down my
life.
like slow down. And I just
Yeah.
wanted to like do something relaxing that didn't involve like I work in bars, so I was just tired of like going out to them. Like that
Yeah.
didn't relax me. Like
Well, you work at them, then you go
Yeah.
out to them to hang out with your
Yeah.
friends.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it's just something like I wanted to like find out like I was saying earlier, I don't have a single direction I wanted to go, but I just wanted to figure out like what was out there.
Yep.
And I had ridden horses when I was younger, and then like one day it hit me. I'm like, well, if I'm gonna be like, it's summertime, it's beautiful out here. I don't want to like just go to the bar, or, like go to work. I want to have something I can do that's like just a feel good thing. So
Yeah.
I think it was like the perfect time. Like I'm literally in like the Midwest, beautiful views. Like someone out here has got to have like a horse or two. Like and I was happy. I would have been happy to just like trail ride too.
Yeah.
At that point, I just wanted to like be out of the house, and I get really antsy if I'm like in the house too long. So now I have all these extra hours in a day, and how am I gonna fill it?
Yeah.
And then I accidentally just started really liking horseback riding, I guess. So I don't know what
Yeah.
happened. I don't know how.
I mean,
Yeah.
I always liked horses and riding horse and all that. Once you start to learn what real horsemanship is, takes on a whole
Yeah.
different,
And there's no competition
yeah,
in it either. Like it's literally like
just
can
yourself.
I be better than I was yesterday?
Yeah,
And but like there's no like perfect timeline. There's no like, oh, you've been doing it for like this many days, which means you should be able to do this by now. There's no like
yeah,
there's no perfect anything. No, like it's just all up to you and like where how fast or slow you want to learn and like where you want to go. And there was a day like I started riding a lot out of nowhere. I don't even know what it was. I think I really liked it and it
yeah,
brought me some kind of like catharsis kind of feeling where I was like, this is really relaxing. This is a part of my week that I do that's solely for
yeah,
me after talking to everybody else and like living with my best friend. This is something I can just do for just myself.
yeah.
And so it kind of like would become like a church for me. Like it's just like my own thing that like I control,
That make me a pastor?
no,
No?
that's
Okay.
scary thought.
Yeah.
No, no,
Yes.
your church
You
next
said
door.
it. You said it.
You're the like mega churches where they like
Yeah.
come flying down on like chords like hello Sunday. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I'm at Steak and Bones Church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I just feel like I started coming a lot out of nowhere too. And like the more I just came and spent time, like definitely the better I got until like I don't know, it was like maybe fall of last year, you're like, well, where are you going with this? Like, cause I was like, well, I'm just like doing this. And you're like,
Yeah.
well, he's like, you have to have some kind of a point. And I'm like, I don't want to have some
You can't
kind
just come out here.
you're out here enough to like you like just like say you're gonna do something like do anything with it like just like pick literally
Jeez.
anything
Just
you
cornered
didn't
you, put you on the
say it
spot.
you didn't
Yeah.
say it like
Yeah,
that
you
but
maybe
you just said something
like
I'm like
got in
yeah
your face. What are you
yeah
doing?
no I'm like yeah you're kind of right like I'm spending like money and just come out and like keep doing this so like
Yeah.
if I'm gonna do that like I definitely should and I like doing it so like it's not a problem to just pick a direction so I just really leaned in
Yeah.
after that then and now I'm like addicted
Nice.
yeah
Yeah. And for the listeners, Monty came out just to ride horse initially. And I don't, when was the last time you were on a horse before that?
oh like 16 years
Yeah.
like something crazy
So yeah,
yeah
just this on yonker jumping on one of my horses and doing a little lesson, I think, is what we did the first time just to make sure, well, we could go out on a trail at some point,
yeah
hopefully. But based on the lesson, it wasn't go.
no
No.
no
But I think you were taking, what, one lesson a week for a while?
yeah for like I feel
Yeah.
like maybe like 2 months and I was like
Yeah.
I can do two
Yeah. And then two turned into three a week, and then sometimes four times a week or more.
and then like driving out after work and like
Yeah.
fighting like literally racing the sunset especially
Yeah.
in winter I'm like I have 45 minutes
Yep.
to like get this done so
Yeah. And little by little, she just kept coming out more, and well, started giving her more horses to ride. And she's improved a lot in a year and a half, probably more like a year as far as when you actually
mm-hmm.
when I cornered you and
when I like actually
yeah, what are you doing here? No.
when I actually looked up in the outfield kind of a
Yeah.
thing yeah
Oh yeah, what am I doing?
Mhm.
But she's been really committed to working horses and horsemanship, and it shows. I mean, she improved significantly in that year and a half, and it's just fun because now we're just out there riding.
yeah
I'll still help out as the pastor, but
pastor please
I prefer brother.
brethren please
Brother, please. Uh, no, not gonna happen.
we should get you a robe
Doesn't feel right. Yeah, a
we
robe.
should do that for Halloween
Yes.
yeah
Uh, yep. I can't get that visual
no
out of my head now.
morticians and priests on this episode
Yeah, that's the headline of the episode. But yeah, it's fun to also have someone out there that wants to improve, that's interested in the horsemanship and all that too. So it's been fun for, I think, I hope both of us.
It definitely
Yeah.
has. Yeah. It definitely has.
And really, it's all about the summers here. Winter, you can kind of just hunker down
No,
and
winter's great.
work on the particulars, but it's a little more difficult to get out, cover some ground. That's why you put in the time in the winter, so then summertime hits and you head for the hill.
Yeah, I don't like when people talk bad about riding in the winter.
Yeah.
Actually, I weirdly feel safer, which is like pretty naive considering like some questionable footing. But like,
Ice, yeah,
also I don't know what it is, but like yeah, the transition then from like riding all winter to like then having like good footing. Like wait, maybe I don't suck.
yeah,
Like maybe this just felt really weird because the snow's like 3 feet
yeah.
high.
And the horse is having
Yeah,
to like basically. It feels like they're bucking sometimes when they're just
definitely,
cantering through snow
definitely.
normally
Hmm.
or trotting.
Yeah, it's like riding a jackhammer.
Yeah,
But
I've
then
never
it's
rode one, so I don't know.
me either.
Yeah.
It's what I would imagine that would be like. But
Okay.
then when summer comes around, it's like you're like, okay, wait, I like secretly got good from the
Yeah.
winter.
Look
I
at
didn't even
me.
I
Hey.
didn't even know I could do that.
Yeah.
But like, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and then you don't have to be as creative then in the summer too
Mm-mm.
because the footing's good, so you can actually canter
Yeah.
a circle.
Also, you can stay out there for hours.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's some days where like I would ride through all three of the horses that I usually ride, like where I can get through one because then I can't feel my hands, face,
Yeah.
feet. Like I've got frostbite and my feet burn when I get in the car. And then
She's
summer, it's
dramatic.
like
I don't
there's
know if
no
you've
rush.
kept
Like
on to that.
you can do all day long. You can go all day long if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like perfect.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Leaves changing,
Yeah.
hopefully some cattle to gather and mountains to climb.
Yeah.
It's good.
That's like definitely like if you told high school me like just hold on, just hold on a second, hold your horses. You don't have to go like doing this to yourself. Like here's you in 6 years. I would have been like, oh, thank God,
Yeah.
thank God. Now I look back and I'm like, oh man, I'm so glad that this is my view instead of like just if I would have gone and
Yeah.
like went into marketing. Like nope, I get to wake up and like go follow a bunch of cattle through
Yeah.
these giant trees. So I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the days we all
definitely.
and that's why you put in the work and go out there and go off on your own. Because I remember what is that? Not last fall, but the fall before that, you were out there.
Hungover as hell
Oh, and
in like 4 shirts.
yeah, and
Like,
you turned so red, and by
I
the
was gonna
time,
pass out or
yeah,
throw up, and I was like,
yeah,
I'm like a month into knowing these people, and like I'm sure if I throw up and die on their horse, they're not gonna be like pleased.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Oh man.
you were out there, and you had to be with someone because you were still that new to it. Couldn't
Yeah.
just be like, hey, go cover that
No.
section. Like,
No.
hey, who wants to babysit Monty?
Yeah. Yeah. But now I don't need that anymore.
No, no, now I can trust
Now
you
it's
to
cool.
like ride with
Yeah.
other people and show them around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool seeing that this fall to
Yeah.
where you were able to just go off on your own,
Yeah.
even have other people you were responsible for and
Yeah.
not worry at all. Well, all right.
Yeah, and
Here we go.
I'm pretty like self-aware, so like even back then I knew I would never have like been comfortable going off my own. I would be
Yeah.
like, no, I'm gonna stick with someone because like anything could happen. And now I really actually look for I enjoy riding in our lessons where we're both together for like the entire time, but I've also really been enjoying splitting off
Yeah.
and like having to just like now I've got to look to myself to get myself through this
Yeah.
or to like try and feel this and like
Yeah.
it's
Just work at it.
different. Yeah, it's more fun to just like I'm more focused when it's just me.
Mhm.
And that's like kind of the school thing too. Like I just
Yeah.
I learn better when I feel like someone's not like staring at me waiting to be like you suck.
Yeah. Now I know.
Yeah.
So now I get to
Yeah.
play evil games with your mind.
No. No you don't.
No. I I always thought it was funny when I was traveling around and in cities. I was able to work horses in the city, so still felt like I was able to air out. But I remember being in the city. If I ever took a day off, what do I do with myself? So I always think about that from your bartending perspective and stuff too. what do you do when you're in a city?
No,
To go anywhere is such a
yeah.
hassle.
No, and like especially in the city, like hand over fist money too.
Yeah.
Granted, I didn't have a horse back then, so like I had a lot more money without a horse.
Yeah.
Um, so
And
yeah,
well, you just work because what
yeah,
else are you gonna do in a city?
yeah. But I didn't have to grind back then either, like because I wasn't doing any of the
Yeah.
stuff I'm doing now, and also it's a lot more expensive up here to like live.
Yeah.
Like rent wise, it's pretty similar. But like our groceries are absurd. If
Yeah.
you buy 4 things at Safeway, it's like $100.
$100
And if I go to
all
Trader
day.
Joe's, I can buy 100 things for $40. So
Yeah.
like it's cheaper. They have better options down there, but like there's more room to like play with your money down there. Like I would,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really like to go to NBA games, so it gets a lot of my. No, it's really not. It's really not. Football is
I
bizarre.
don't
They
know
stop
anyone
the play
else
every
that's
two
like in
seconds.
the NBA. I don't
Do you know any
actually
other
know.
people who were raised on basketball?
Nope.
No, exactly.
Sure don't.
You go to your church, I'll go to mine.
Okay. But fine. Yeah, Grand County's a beast as far as living and trying to make living simultaneously and have hobbies, interests, other professions trying to seek simultaneously. Be kind of a hamster wheel feel
Yeah.
to it, especially since the COVID, fire,
Inflation
yeah,
that never came down.
all of that happened, and it hit this area really hard because one, a lot of people had a house built all of a sudden, and well, a lot of construction companies around. Then people that were getting maxed out, so then they just started to charge astronomically.
Yeah.
Oh, to go up. I don't know too many people that come back down after that.
Especially when certain people can meet it, or it can be met
Yeah.
consistently enough that like you don't have to drop it.
Then you got second homeowner, see people
Mm-hmm.
that pop in and out. Are they some more money than the working locals?
They definitely do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that also hurts the inflation
Mm-hmm.
that the locals.
There's a lot of like I don't know, convex problems, like things that
Yeah.
feed each other and then like also repel each other.
Yeah.
Up here.
Yeah, because we need tourists, we
Yeah.
need second homeowners, we need all
Mm-hmm.
that. So there's nothing wrong with that.
No, no, like they pay my bills, but also they
Yeah.
make it impossible to find a house. Like
to
what?
afford anything, yeah.
Like I'm like, wait, this isn't something's not working like perfectly. Like
Yeah.
there's got to be a better way, but like I'm not the person to figure that out, and I don't
Yeah.
want to be. So
Yeah, and then for anyone to actually save up for it, just can't live then.
no,
You're just saving, being a
Mm-mm.
curmudgeon.
you
sitting in
can't
your
you can't
house.
even save up for it.
No.
You would have to be doing it like some insane job title, an insane yearly rate to be saving up for that. Like
Yeah.
I know people who've gotten significant money from like past family members and we're like looking at houses and they're priced out.
Yeah.
And they don't have
Straight cash offers way over
Yeah.
price.
Yeah, and like that, and they have some serious money and they can't even afford it up here. And then like you go to the lake and you see some of the houses like by the lake that are like
Yeah.
dilapidated, and then next door is like a mansion with like I don't know the finest like little speedboat you've ever seen. It's like a really weird mix of like haves and like
Yeah.
have-nots you could say up here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they'll be multi-million and then trailer home. I mean, even the dinky homes are still $1 million.
yeah, even the land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And also we're like getting bigger. Like more people are like coming up here. It
Yeah.
seems like especially like, even in the summer too. So we have this like growing interest, and then like there's not enough houses literally to put anyone there. So then they just keep building more.
Yeah.
But still, no one can afford them except for the people coming up from Denver. So I don't know.
Conundrum.
Yeah, makes my brain hurt.
Yeah. Exactly.
But also not my problem. I've like almost been relaxed in the fact that like I may not be a homeowner.
Yeah.
And like honestly, that's totally cool. That's my lifestyle. It always has been. So as long as I have a sick trailer, we're good. I could definitely
Live
do
in
the mobile
horse
home life.
trailer?
Oh, not a horse trailer.
Yeah.
I would want like a
Well,
mobile home. I would want like a big mobile home,
okay.
and then I'll be
Okay.
totally fine.
Yeah.
That and a bunch of animals, and we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gonna pull your horse trailer behind. So
yeah. And I want to get like a nice truck, but I don't know anything about this. So I'm gonna take my time with the research.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
switch it up from the Rav4.
Yeah.
This is also like 20 years away,
Yeah.
at least. At least.
That's safe.
Yeah, yeah,
Gives you some time.
yeah.
Good buffer.
Well, my parents, like my little sister's getting married, and all of the money they're like putting into her wedding, they're like, we'll do the same for you. I'm like, what happens if I don't get married?
Yeah.
Because that's the chance. Like, I mean, it would suck, but like, whatever. And they
Or
were like,
what
we'll
if
just
we
give you
don't
the
have
money.
a
I'm like,
big wedding and you
that's
just
not.
give me that?
Well, that would be the idea. But
Yeah.
also, if like none of that comes true, I will still be fine. I'm like a cockroach, honestly. Like, I'm gonna be good no matter what. But like, if whatever, I don't think it's a small sum of money, and like anything helps. So like, if I can get my trailer, like literally everything, everything's gonna be totally fine. That's all.
Yeah.
Somewhere to park it and like not freeze my ass off in the winter would
There
be
you
great.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. So what does the future look like for you?
No idea.
No
No.
idea. Are there
Horses.
some hopes and dreams and things
No.
you're kind of hoping for?
No, there's things that I'm doing right now that I like and want to continue in the future. So obviously, I want to ride more horses.
Yeah.
And get more experience, and that's just the direction. But there's no like
And then eventually get paid to ride horse?
that actually that is one of the goals. But like that's gonna take time, and even if I am being paid to ride horses in any capacity, I'm definitely still like I like money.
Yeah.
Money is security for me. That's why I work the insane hours that I do.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not like even if I'm exhausted, I still do it. So I'll still bartend no matter what, and like I'll still always have a side hustle just because I also can't take a day off. I literally
Yeah.
I get anxious and I get jittery and I feel bad about myself for resting sometimes. So that's just I just always stay active, and I have the like saying in my head, well, if I'm at home doing nothing when I could be making money, like that's on me.
Yeah.
So I would love to be
Unless you
paid.
can figure
Yeah.
out how to be home
Yeah.
and
Like
do
freelance
nothing
writing
and
I've
make
thought
money.
about, but like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
but I'm tired, and it's
Interesting.
hard for me to get home after like a long day and want to like set up a time to write. It's really
Yeah.
hard for me to do that, and I like my brain is constantly worrying and like
Worrier.
no worrying, like not worry. Yeah,
Okay.
like
Okay.
there's a lot of thoughts, and like when I come home from work, it's still racing. So the last thing I'm gonna be good at is sitting down and like finding
Yeah.
to work with. So yeah,
Huh.
I don't know. But back on the topic, yes, being paid to ride horses eventually. I think being useful in any field of horsemanship.
I just want to be useful.
No, like in any field in like horsemanship. Like if
Yeah.
I can like be of use to someone else or to a horse, that's the goal for now.
Yeah.
And like I don't have a timeline for like where I want to necessarily be in any amount of time, but like as long as I keep moving there, like I trust, I've already had a bunch of opportunities and like new experiences with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I just like I know that like if I put in the time and effort and the work, like the things that I would like or hope for will come my way.
Yeah.
And then I just have to like make time and space for them
Mm-hmm.
to come in. But like wherever my life has taken me, like it's been a wild journey already, but like I've definitely landed where I'm supposed to be. So like now I just have confidence in that. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. My priority is just this right now, and I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah. And bar wise?
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I definitely I don't want to learn another menu or work at another bar. Like if I were to
Yeah.
quit this bar, it would be to own my own.
Yeah.
And that's something I've also told my mom that since high school. Like it would be no, I've always
And she
known.
didn't worry?
No, she didn't. Because
Yeah.
they
That's
used to
awesome.
tell me like if you want to have money to go out and do stuff, you get a job.
Yeah.
So I never actually
Okay.
got to go out and do stuff with my friends because I had to work
Yeah.
and like make that money, and like wish I would have saved more of that. I could have had a lot more money right now if I had like put some of that
Whoops.
away.
Yeah.
Whoopsie, yeah. But like you're a kid, like
Yeah.
you
You're
got to
just
have the
living.
new shirt from I don't know the mall or something. I don't know, bad spending, whatever.
Never
Yeah.
had that urge.
Yeah, no, you just buy horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is worse.
Bad addiction.
Which is
Yep.
yeah.
You
can
pay
never
money
say
for
no.
them, and then you pay money
Yeah,
to feed them.
Someone said if you want to be a billionaire in horses or a millionaire in horses, you have to start as a billionaire.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Noted.
Yeah.
T-shirt.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to own my own bar, and like I would keep it so simple. I would probably have it be a little Western themed, maybe some like live music, but like the only time I want to sling drinks again is like if it's for myself. I've been in so many. We turned a profit at the bar that we opened in the first year, and there was 5 of us at the core of that business.
Yeah.
And like, yes, we had been working for an experienced owner. That would not have happened if it weren't for me and the people I was with.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were the people on ground every single day for long hours, like never complaining, and like we could have hired other people to help us and made our lives easier, but we were just so particular about how things were done because we'd all done it and we trusted each other. And like that's people think in the bar industry, like, you know, you're probably just you weren't good enough to do anything else, so now you're doing this. And like it turns out like I make more money in my 6-hour shift. Yeah. And I still have like I still get to live my life. But yeah, owning my own bar is definitely something I'd want in the future. And I would keep it simple and like keep it a local kind of place, and not overcomplicate it. No.
Yeah. Go wrong?
Nope.
Anything else
No.
that comes to mind?
I don't think so.
We've covered quite a bit of ground. I'm running out of questions.
No, that's my butt.
Yeah.
This chair does hurt. Yeah.
I'm getting a new one this week.
So. Margarita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had to suffer through.
Yeah.
Should have brought the saddle stand.
The rolling one?
Yeah, for you.
No, I hate that thing.
Yeah.
I thought about switching ours the other day just to be a dick. And then I was like, he might be annoyed he has to actually just move this because I was just going to leave.
Just leave.
Like,
just leave.
Yeah. No, I don't think anything else.
No life lessons or anything like that.
Oh,
parting notes.
No, I would just say like trust yourself, know your intuition. If you like, I don't let people tell you're stupid because you can't do something that like
literally don't let them
like genuinely don't start believing that about yourself because like in 10 like that can really shape how you see the world and how you see yourself. And like if I was like any less headstrong, I probably would have like I don't know where I'd be right now. I don't know if I'd even be here.
You could start to believe that at some point.
Yeah. And like to like any adults with like kids in like times of transition, like actually listen to them. That's not just that's not like something that you just like your child you had and they don't know any better. Like they're not just a reflection of you. That is like literally another person. That's another person and they've got thoughts and feelings. And if, you know, they don't want to go to college, save yourself the money and I don't know, maybe save their life and don't make them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that, family, are you gonna?
Am I gonna what?
Start a family?
I hope so. I hope so. I really hope so. Yeah. I've always wanted to have like 5 kids. Sorry to my future husband.
Goodness. Sorry.
We're gonna have to work. I'm gonna have to have like 5 bars. Yeah.
Yes.
One for each kid's college fund if they want it, and if not, I don't know.
Or find yourself a billionaire who becomes a millionaire.
No.
There you go.
I don't think I have the like the style or attitude that like people who come from wealth are attracted to. I think they look at me and are like, ooh. At least that's what I learned in California at this wedding I went to.
Oh, we won't go there.
Yeah, my husband is not going to be a Californian. Yeah. That's all I can say. Yeah.
Well, thanks for being number 1
on
the podcast. You
and in
are.
Life?
Yeah, you're so special.
Let's go. Thank you. Thank you, Tyler. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's that.
Okay. Have a good one.